Your smart speaker.
And BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Scottish football lives here.
You're listening to Open All Mics on BBC Radio Scotland. Stay with us. The drama last weekend was absolutely incredible. More of the same today, I am sure. Our commentary match this afternoon comes from the game at Ibrox, and there for us is Rory Loy. Rory, I just touched on it there. A late change to the Rangers starting 11.
Yeah, there is. We're not quite sure if it's illness, if it's an injury, or what's happened with Jack Butland, but Liam Kelly will come in, and it's a massive day for him now. He'll come into the goals, and he's going to need to stand up and be counted, because I don't doubt for a second Dundee will have flurries up the pitch and opportunities to score goals. So big day for him as the teams come out just now.
Rory, what did you make of the comments of Philippe Clement in terms of the tactics they may face from Dundee this afternoon? A bit unfair?
I think Dundee are a good footballing side. I think they've been struggled defensively slightly, but he almost painted a picture of a team who battle and hassle and harry, which they will do, but that's not what they're all about. They also play good football. Lyle Cameron in the middle of the pitch is a right good player. Tiffany is a tricky player as well. As I said, Mulligan's come onto a game. They've got good players on the pitch and they can play good football, and with Silla and McGee anchoring as well, they'll look to try and get as much of the ball as they can and play. So yeah, I think he focused a lot on the dig and the fight, but I think Dundee have got a lot more to them than that personally, but he chose not to speak about that.
Yeah, Rory will bring us all the news on that one. Understandably, given the conditions, John Robertson, a very quick start up there in Dingwall.
Yes, it's brutal is the word I would use right now. You cannot see the hills. It's as I say, it's the worst wind you could get here. It's a west wind straight down the park, and St Mirren are facing it. As I say, their fans are all huddled. A fair amount, I've got to say. Well played to St Mirren fans who have travelled up here. They're all tucked away in the south stand there, but it's a shocker of a day. But sometimes a good football game breaks out, and that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, and John, I'll come back to you a bit later. I know you want to have a few things to say on the conversation with Ian Maxwell, talking about VAR and potentially different systems we could look at in Scottish football. But looking at this game today, you've spoken about it many times, John, the importance of home form to county. Now, albeit St Mirren a very good solid side, I felt a very typical St Mirren performance getting that win at McDermott Park last weekend, but you feel a key game for the home side this afternoon?
Yeah, they're all key games for Ross County here, because they fancy their chances, even against the bigger teams as well. They fancy their chances in here. They pushed Celtic all the way, a late winner there. They pushed Aberdeen all the way, a late winner there. Rangers were excellent, but they had big chances, County, to get themselves back in the game. So they're a different animal at home, there's no doubt about it. But as I say, today it's going to be interesting, because the conditions that I've just seen Malcolm there, kick the ball from the edge of his box on the ground. It's not even reached his side of the centre circle.
My goodness.
So that's and as we say, that's a half chance. Oh, Mander heads one just over the bar there. So St Mirren have actually knocked it about quite well on the ground to get themselves up the park, but the wind is brutal, and we seem to be, as anybody who knows the Highlands well, it's like squally weather. You'll get about 10-15 minutes of it horrendous, and then it'll abate for a few minutes and it will come back again. But right now it's blowing a hoolie. Yeah,
and just seen the images coming into the studio. My goodness, that's kind of a big impact, the wind on that game up there in Dingwall this afternoon. Also very tricky conditions this afternoon at Pittodrie, Billy Dodds. This looks quite a difficult game to call.
Yeah, it does, but Aberdeen have started really well, right out the traps. Nicky Devlin down the right hand side, Kenny just fizzed in a ball that really got caught in the wind, and Chris Cadden didn't know how to deal with it, got a little bit lucky, took a touch, and then he eventually got it clear. But it's Aberdeen really out the blocks, starting quick in this one. It was weird, because Hibs wanted to press. Johan went after the ball and he looked round at his teammates, and the other 9 were right behind him, not bothering with the press at all.
There was plenty, Michael, for David Gray to work on, I'm sure, this week in training. Liam was in here, you were at Easter Road for it. It was actually a brilliant, dramatic game, wasn't it, Easter Road? But a lot of that was down to the errors that were getting made.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. I mean, to be fair, the first half was actually, very entertaining, but almost in a comical fashion. But look, Hibs got the victory. Got them off the bottom of the table. It was. They've got to try to, at this stage, cling on to any positives. But for Aberdeen, Jack McKenzie coming back is a big one for me, because without him in the team, they've struggled. James McGarry's not really been able to fill in as well as you would have hoped. And that back line of Aberdeen has been very, very solid in terms of selection wise through the season beforehand, and I think him coming back in will certainly help the back line to just feel a little bit more stable.
Right, let's go down the grounds in the Championship. We're at all 4 games this afternoon. Amy Canavan is watching the leaders Falkirk at home to Hamilton Accies. It's getting very interesting now at the top of the Championship table, Amy. Are you with us?
She's done her day's work. She
gave us exclusive.
She's away home.
Mic drop, literally.
Have you got it? You picked up that mic? Are you there?
There we go.
All right.
Is it a little bit bad? Line's a little bit dodgy,
do you know what, Amy? We'll come back to you. We'll come back to you. Is that clear now?
Is that better now?
That's
there
better
we go.
now. Go for it. Go
having
for it.
A hoot in Falkirk. Having a hoot. Absolutely, Kenny. You're right, though, and particularly with that Livingston and Ayr game going on today as well. So Falkirk really want to capitalise on that. And saying that, Hamilton Accies have started the game really well. Kyle McDonald's just had a decent shot as they break away again right now. But I must say, I'm sure Chick said this over the last few weeks, the Accies strip with the black number on the back of the red and white, my goodness, it's a real tough one to figure out from a way up here as to who is who. But a decent start for Accies nonetheless.
Yeah, Livingston at home to Ayr United this afternoon. Brian McLaughlin is there for us. Brian, we'll bring in Leanne and Michael because they had a really interesting chat with Davy Martindale last weekend just about how he's changed the style of play. Yeah.
I think it's worth talking about the Wraith situation.
I want to come back and then I just want to get the story out. Just 1 second, Michael. Just come in quickly on that. Brian, Livingston and Ayr United, who started the better there?
Ayr United have started the better. They've had one half chance already. The ball played in from the left hand side. McAllister with a half volley straight into the arms of Jerome Pryor. Yeah, a good start made by Scott Brown. A terrific victory last week, you'd have to say. I know Falkirk were down to 10 men early on, but there's been they'd stuttered a little bit in recent weeks, but yeah, they seem to be back on track again. But Livingston, 1 defeat in 22, and they've not conceded a goal in any of their last 5 games. I had a quick chat earlier on when I came in with Ryan McGowan. He was telling me, yes, things are going really well. He says, we've got a good team here, and they do have aspirations, he says, and they think a win today and would really start to put pressure on Falkirk. But going back to that Wraith Rovers story, I mean, when you look at it, he wasn't the first choice, he wasn't the second choice, he probably was 4th or 5th choice to go into Kirkcaldy. So Neil Collins is now going back to the USA, he's got off to Sacramento, and I think it's a big task now to try and find a manager to try and steer Wraith up the table and into the Championship. And I've already got a couple of calls in, Kenny, to try and find out exactly what's going on there, how far down the line they are, because they were aware last Sunday, that Sacramento were going to make this release clause and offer the job to Neil Collins. So I'm no doubt that work's already underway to try and bring in a new head coach to Kirkcaldy.
I think Amy's hardwired into the board at Wraith now, getting that scoop.
That's a very, very good story to get. What do you make of this?
Look, for me, the biggest takeaway from this is that forget about Neil Collins being 4th, 5th or 6th or whatever choice he was. He himself is clearly looking for exit. So this goes back to, and honestly, the frustration of football fans, myself as well, of so many clubs that have people in charge that think they know best. You just can't look past what happened after 1 game this season, and they're now, before Christmas, having to find another manager. It took them long enough the last time, and as Brian's talking about 4th, 5th choice or whatever, from what I'm led to believe, Neil Collins took a lot of convincing to take the job in the first place, and they paid him a very big salary because they were desperate, and they obviously put in this release clause because Neil even then wasn't overly convinced about wanting to be there, and he's exited, he's gone back to the States, and now they're left trying to find another manager.
Well, David Healy had the job, Michael. He was supposed to be taking charge of Linfield for one final time, and he was supposed to be arranging his flights to come across, and then on the Sunday morning it became apparent that he wasn't coming across, and that's when they had to go back to plan B.
But to be fair to the board at Wraith Rovers, Michael, I know you say 1 game this season, but they said this was going back a long time.
Yeah, okay, they said that, but that's ludicrous and utter nonsense. They were in the playoffs.
That interview from Andy Barrow and Michael was embarrassing,
exactly
embarrassing. And the things he came out with and things he said, the product on the park and the positions in the league and the things Ian Murray had done simply didn't evidence what Andy Barrowman was trying to put forward. It just didn't. Raith Rovers were in a good place, and they were playing well. Yes, anyone can lose the first game of the season. It can happen, especially in the Scottish Championship.
So why did they get rid of him?
Good question. Why
They'd lost 5 in a row, I think.
Ian Murray doesn't even know that.
I think they'd lost 5 games in a row to Airdrie, and that was what happened. I remember.
We can't beat Airdrie. Is that really a reason to sack someone?
Can't beat your old club. You're at the top.
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, look, for me,
You're kidding me on.
for me, I think the reason he's been sacked was there was clearly, and I think a lot of it lies on the shoulders of Andy Barrowman. I think there was a conflict of characters there. Ian Murray was doing a good job at Raith Rovers, make no mistake about it. He had them in the playoffs. They had lost the first game of the season, and also, if you want to take it a little bit further back, they were in the Premier Sports Cup and they missed out. I think it was, I'm not even sure whether it was a point or it was goal difference they missed out on. Ross County, I believe, were top of the table. But again, are you really going to be using that as a barometer? He was doing a good job, and I think that there was a conflict of characters and of opinions, even within the board. And that Andy Barrowman felt he knew best, and he was able to, for somehow, convince others that this was the course of action. And I think what needs to happen is there needs to be an element of scrutiny on those people making the decisions. And Raith Rovers are by no means the only club, because I know we'll get round to talking about this in due time. But Hearts, at this moment, are in a terrible.
Let me talk to you about that, just because.
Can I just say very quickly, Kenny? The last time I covered this fixture, I sat here with Ian Murray, and like going into too much detail on what he said, I certainly seemed to back up what Michael's saying, that there was a bit of a clash of characters there. I think they had very different ideas. In that interview that Andy Barrowman gave, which was all over the shop, I said that at the time, he spoke a lot about the Monday to Friday. He was almost hinting at unprofessionalism Monday to Friday. That's kind of the impression I got without him actually saying it, which again, given the league position and things, was just ridiculous. And to sack a manager after one game, giving him the full summer, that is the start. And we've seen it so many times where clubs make these decisions and ultimately down the line they go through a cycle of managers and it turns into a disaster. So very surprised.
We'll continue around the grounds, and just on Hearts, Michael, you're right. There's a massive story there, no doubt at all about it. So at a Hearts, we always look ahead to the Sunday games, as you know, when we get the fans on at 5:30. So I'd booked a Hearts fan to come on. I got another Hearts fan contact me this morning, desperate to come on because he feels so passionate, so unhappy about what's going on at his football club. So right, let's get the two of you on together. So that's the plan. We'll have the fan reaction later. Just quickly then, before we move around the ground, to wrap up Raith Rovers for now, the problem they've got here right now is, I know there's always someone that'll take the job, but a serious candidate, is going to have a very long, hard look. That's what's going on at that football club, aren't they?
Well, yes and no, but I mean, you look at where Raith Rovers were this time last season, and the contrast in their form is unbelievable. I mean, last night was their first away win this season. Last season they were up there flying high, if not top of the table at this point, certainly in second position. So look, there's a good group of players there. We know how cutthroat the Championship can be and how competitive it can be. I won't sit here and say that I know the ins and outs of Raith Rovers and behind the scenes and what it looks like in terms of the structure of the club and whatever else. On the pitch, there's good players that should be winning more games than they have, and if anybody watched the game last night, certainly for the first 40 minutes, I'm not sure you would have been headhunting Neil Collins as your manager based on the performance on the pitch. So look, it might be a blessing in disguise that our clubs come in, they've taken Neil, he'll move on to certainly what he views to be bigger and better things, and Raith Rovers have got to find a suitable candidate, absolutely, somebody that can come in just now, start to get better results than what they've shown this season, find levels of consistency, get some of the top players that they've got at the club performing. I know Dylan Easton was carrying an injury last night, came off the bench, but I'm looking even at a player like Josh Mullen last night sitting on the bench as an unused sub, and I'm just wondering, why, what purpose are you serving at that club? Because for the last couple of seasons he's been a strong performer in the Championship, and they seem to be so far removed from things last night. It was unbelievable. So anyway, it was a big result for them, certainly off the back of this news.
Clyde won 4-0. Jordan Allen with a goal there. Newcastle United 1-0 up away at Ipswich, and the final score in the lunchtime kick-off in England, Aston Villa 2.
There's an instant at
Manchester City 1. Yeah, what's that in the belly?
I'm not sure.
Brilliant chance for, I don't know, Bashiri's blocked a goal saving shot from Sockler. I mean, it was down the left-hand side. McGrath releases Keskinen, pull back. I think they were having a look at it, and that's what Michael was alluding to.
Yeah.
And then Bashiri fires into the tackle. It's a brilliant block, smashed off them. I don't know if it was they were looking at a handball situation or whatever, but it's a brilliant goal-saving block. It really is, because Sockler looked as if from 6 yards he was going to stick it in the net.
Yeah, it was just, I wasn't sure.
Sorry, Michael. Carry on.
I wasn't sure, how much of the ball or what it was that Bashiri had actually blocked the ball with, and it was obviously what they were looking at. Still not seen a great replay of it, but obviously VAR's looked at it and waved play on.
Chick, you want to come in there?
Just going to say, Ken, a wee problem early on for Morton. Nathan
Chance
Shaw, just
Livingston,
12 minutes into the game.
Brian McLaughlin.
Goal for Livingston on the break, or has it been disallowed? Yes, looks like it's been disallowed for a handball. It was Teddy Yenge who just 4 yards out just bundled the ball over the line into the back of the net. It looks like he may well have handled the ball when the ball bounced up off the plastic surface here. But yeah, Duncan Williams, the referee, has awarded a free kick. And panic over. It's 0-0 still here. I want to discuss Livingston more. Actually, a Livingston fan joining us late in the programme. Maybe you can chat more about the conversation you guys had with Davy Martindale last week. I really enjoyed listening to that. Check back to you there at the game at Capello. What's happening?
Yeah, early problem for Morton. 12 minutes had gone. Nathan Shaw went in a real hard tackle. Won the ball, but it wasn't a foul or anything. But he's taking a knock in that. He's had to be replaced by Owen Moffat. So a little switch early on for the Ton.
Airdrie home to... Yep, thanks to Chick. Airdrie home to Partick Thistle this afternoon. There for us is Kenny Crawford.
15 minutes gone, Kenny. It's Airdrie 0, Partick Thistle 0. Partick Thistle started really fast. They had a great chance through Aidan Fitzpatrick. Brian Graham put him through.
Goal! Yes! Aberdeen, what a finish it is as well. It's, I think it's brilliant play from Clarkson who brought it down. I don't know what Ahora's doing. He rushes to the ball when he should just back off. The danger's on the left, and the midfield when Leighton Clarkson picks up with a brilliant touch. He doesn't need to get trapped into going towards the ball. Anyway, he does Ahora. Clarkson releases the pass. Keskinen just cuts in on the right foot and flashes it into the far corner. Brilliantly taken finish from Topi Keskinen. It's Aberdeen 1, Hibs 0.
Hey, do you know, Billy just sums it up perfectly. Absolutely perfect. It's classic, counter-attack, quick play for Aberdeen. But, as Billy's mentioned there, what are Hibs doing defensively? First of all, Leighton Clarkson's too big a gap between the defence and midfield, and then absolutely spot on. Ahora, he steps out, and there is just such a gaping hole for Clarkson then to knock it past him and slip it into Keskinen. Ahora has to deepen. He can't go to the ball. Keskinen does brilliant. Cuts in on the right foot through Bashiri's legs into the bottom corner. Great goal for Aberdeen.
Bashiri needs to get to the ball quicker as well. At the point you've realised that Ahora stepped out and left you isolated and vulnerable, he needs to go and close the space a lot quicker. He tries to stay, he tries to protect, but tell you what, the finish is brilliant because it's just so simple. Passed it virtually into the far corner. Good start from Aberdeen.
Yeah, five without a win today.
Yeah, I think it goes through Bashiri's legs. Here's another chance Aberdeen. They're right up for it. It looks as if the break is freshening them up, but I can understand, Mikey, why you get frustrated at times with Hibs defence, because this is maybe my second look at them. Not obviously seen a bit in the TV and that, but second look at them, I'm thinking just stay, son, just stay, don't break that back free, just try and just hold them up to get midfielders back, really, but he just takes himself right out.
Because the thing is, as soon as Leighton Clarkson's picked that ball up and he's the wrong side of the Hibs midfield, O'Hara, literally, as you just said there, he has to just drop and allow his midfield to try and get back and get a bit of pressure on Clarkson. As soon as he steps forward, I mean, Clarkson, all he has to do is just nick the ball past him. He doesn't even have to be accurate, because there's about a 40-yard gap in behind him. It just is. It's so basic.
Yeah, Topi Keskinen with that goal in 40 minutes. Aberdeen 1, Hibs 0, Annan Athletic 0, Arbroath 1. Fraser Taylor with a goal after 12 minutes. Let's get to Ibrox. Just seen the pictures. Actually seen some close-ups. Again, we've not got any windows in here where they're covered up, but it looks dreadful out there in Glasgow this afternoon, Rory Loy. Yeah, it's very windy and there's a lot of rain coming down. Rangers have been good without being great. Some decent passages of play. They've not really tested the goalkeeper yet. Corners just went in there and proper. Glanced the header, which has went over the far side. Dundee have been up the pitch once. They got a corner on them. It was an outswinger taken by Robertson, which I was surprised at. Liam Kelly called in 5 minutes before the game.
first start and things, you'd think get an in-swinger, put it right on top of him. They choose not to do that. It was easily cleared. Rangers have had a lot of the ball, as I said, Kenny. Diamandi had a nice wee dance into the box around a couple of players. There was a few half-hearted shouts for a penalty. It was never a penalty for me, and it wasn't considered, quite rightly so. So it's 0-0 at the moment. Rangers doing well, but nothing more than that.
Check.
Sorry, yeah, it's Morton. There was a long ball played. It's Morton with the wind. It is a westerly ball. Morton, long ball forward. They're caught very flat at the back of the Dunfermline. When the goalkeeper, Oyewumi, comes out and he headers the ball. And Morton have got a chance just to think he's stranded no man's land, 35 yards from his goal. And I'm thinking to myself, just chip it, son. Just go and put it in the net. And they held on to the ball and the goalkeeper get back. Chance gone for Morton.
Rory, just looking at the game at Ibrox.
There's more horrendous defending this time. Aberdeen 1-1. Unbelievable. Wow. Is it Rubizic who's missed the kick? Tell me, Maker, is it Gavin Malloy?
Yeah, I think Malloy misses the first header and then Rubizic misses the ball.
Incredible, flicked on anyway, he misses it, and
terrible.
Boyle just he's unselfish, isn't he? He just picks out Johan, he rolls it into the empty net. It's Aberdeen 1, Hibs 1. Horrendous defending all round.
Billy, tell me this on that instant there. Is the wind playing any part? What is it like at Pittodrie?
The ball's held up. I think it has, because
I'm watching the replay. It's not.
When it's flicked on, but I know what you're saying, because when a couple of balls from Aberdeen shooting left to right is held up, so it's gathered pace, but they've still got to deal with it. Once the header's missed, he just has to kick it, and he misses it.
Yeah, I tell you, that's it, Billy. See, the first instance, you couldn't. Martin Boyle was.
It's cleared off the line. Another big chance here for Ayr United. The ball swung in from the right hand side. Eventually it fell to Jay Henderson, 6 yards out. It was cleared away off the line by the Livingston defence, but Ayr is starting to turn the screw here on Livingston. It's still low 0-0.
Billy, it was Martin Boyle was right in the line of the camera, and you couldn't see what Rubizic actually did, and I wondered whether the ball had been held up in the wind. It wasn't. He just goes to swing it with his left foot and misses the ball completely.
It's horrendous.
It's a mistake, but look, it's simple and effective from Hibs. Comes for the goal kick, direct, flick on. Martin Boyle running in behind, don't get the contact, balls in the back of the net.
It's brilliant from Boyle as well once he gets there.
He does well, it's a good decision.
He can go himself and try and get himself on the score sheet. He's not been in the team, but he just picks out Johan and says, yeah, son, you put it in the net.
He's some player, that LU, and I tell you that, equalising in 18 minutes, one apiece there at nobody at all. Only having a bit of fun. Rory,
who do you think?
Nike? Yeah, absolutely.
I know I'll get played. I'm getting in there early, Dodge. I'm told footballers do that.
I think any sensible football person would have formed that opinion.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Rory, just want to speak about the come-on situation. Derek Ferguson saying earlier on he's in commentary duty there with you at Ibrox. He's very heartened by what he's seen in recent weeks. There's no doubt Rangers are a lot better, but do you still get the feeling, Rory, that the manager just one league defeat or drop points, particularly at home, away from the pressure being right back on?
Yeah, I would suggest so. It's all fine and well taking heart from recent victories and performances, that's fine, but it's over such a small sample size. There's been far too many false dawns in the Rangers fans' eyes, and even again that little bit of hope from Sunday, competed against Celtic and took them penalties and things, they still lost the match. And I think the next 6 weeks, or the next 6 games, will determine how that game's looked back upon. Will it be a building block to, we can now compete with Celtic, but you need to go and beat Dundee, you need to go and beat them convincingly and play well, and you need to do that time and again before you meet Celtic. And for me, you need to beat Celtic at home at Ibrox. If you can go and do it in neutral territory, you need to win the league home game. So, that's a great strike by Hadji. It just clips the top of the crossbar. Really unlucky. Great strike. But yeah, I think it's all fine and well saying, there's progress and all the rest of it. We've heard it so many times. So I think the next 6 games will determine where Philippe Clement goes, because January's a big time at any club. And if they are going to back him to make some signings, then they'll want to go into that window with a little bit of confidence in him.
Yes, Morton have scored, corner right hand side, ball swung in, gave the score in a second, Kenny, but it's been nodded into the back of the net. I think it might have been Jack Baird who's come in there, crowd of players. In any case, it's Dunfermline trailing, and it's Morgan Boyles who gets in the header. The crowd, the players have scattered I can see now Morgan Boyle's identified. It is Morton 1, Dunfermline 0.
Yeah, feels like a big goal there. Cove Rangers 1, Alloa 0. Aaron Dars with a goal on 22 minutes. That's you up to date with all the latest goal news across the country. Any sign of an opening goal in Dingwall, John Robertson?
No, not really. We're in one of the quieter spells for the weather. It's calmed down a little bit. It shows you a difference there. Mandarin, the goalkeeper, this time cleared one halfway into the Ross County half. He wasn't even reaching the centre circle there on, but it's feisty. Tanser's been booked for a really late tackle. It was one of them that he needed to get there. He was just a fraction out and he wiped out the Ross County player. As we said, just past from Chilvers. And then a couple of minutes later, the referee gave a very soft free kick at the edge of the box to Ross County, and Tanser hurtled towards him to give him stick and was grabbed by Phillips and hauled away before he got a second yellow and sent off. And then Hale went down in the corner after a coming together with Iacovitti. Nothing in it, just he might have caught him. He was holding his nose, he wasn't happy, he went down right in front of St Mirren fans. So
I think it was a bit of a kind of flying arm that came out behind him. I've not seen a replay yet, Robbo, but I was waiting for it because it did look as if he kind of drew blood, and I know Iacovitti was trying to plead his case as if it was accidental, but
he went to the referee. He went to the referee and showed him the blood.
Yeah,
and
I've seen that.
But neither of the referees saw it, and I'm surprised. But they didn't. And this is the thing, as you know, they didn't halt VAR. They didn't wait. They just played on. They were just like, I'll get on with it. I'm not even.
I think he was kind of trying to usher the ball out of play. If I caught it just at the sides.
So it's definitely feisty. So there's a wee bit about it. There's a bit of needle to it, and I think that's players with the weather and the wind are, St Mirren are doing the right thing. They're closing County down and making them kick it long. What a ball that is! And at the other end, County are setting traps for St Mirren. They want them to try and pass it because St Mirren can't kick the ball long because of the wind. So it's, as I say, it's feisty. There's tackles getting fired down. The pitch is cutting up already. So it's a wee bit livelier than I thought it would be given the weather, but no real big chances as yet.
John, you mentioned VAR there. We had Ian Maxwell, the SFA chief exec, live in the studio earlier on. What did you make of what he had to say? I know you've got some thoughts on VAR in general, John.
Generally speaking, I think what Michael was saying earlier on, it has improved, it's getting better, but we're still getting some big decisions wrong. I don't need to backtrack that. And I would just listen to, as you do, to people's versions, and I see where Tom's come from, but you can't, this thing about challenges and having monitors down at you can't have that, because right now the rules tell you that you can't have, you're not allowed to go to the fourth official or the referees with what you see. So if Rangers had saw that was in the box last week, they can't show that evidence to the fourth official. They're not allowed to.
Right.
So if that was to be brought in, you'd have to allow them to show, and we'd be there all day. It'd be like an American football game.
Kenny, can I just say, Michael said something interesting, which he said he didn't feel you could take much from the actual audio itself being listened to on the incident last week for the penalty. One thing
Goal!
Yes, John.
Sorry for interrupting. Free kick, whipped into the near post there. Jack Hamilton, it's a dodgy one for the keeper. It's in front of him. It's rebounded, and who would it be? It has to be an ex-Ross County player. Alex Iacovitti has slammed it in from 4 yards. Unfortunately for Jack Hamilton, it's a difficult one. Is it an error, Leanne? I'll let you make the decision. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It's right at his feet, muddy, but it's tucked away. 1-0 St Mirren.
First viewing probably doesn't look too great.
No, I'm
waiting for a replay, because I don't know if he could have just got it out of the firing line with the contact. Going to get a better look at it now. Michael's going to see it as well. He's got to do better, hasn't he? Got to do better. There's a cluster of bodies, but he just kind of saves it with the body, and it just comes back into the on-running Iacovitti. I think he's got to turn it round the post if he's not sure if he can hold it. He tries to gather it. We've just seen the kind of reverse angle from behind the goals.
Oh, what an effort! Keskinen, wait to see this. And he's just missed a little chance, couldn't force it home a few minutes ago. But he gets it from McGrath, right to left, gets on his right foot and curls it. Goalkeeper's he's just staring at it. It's nearly hitting him in the head on the way out. But it's just crashed off the crossbar and the post. I think it was the post, Mikey. Leanne,
I
let me know, but
what
an effort it is from Keskinen. Nearly made it 2-1.
Yeah, fantastic. Just confirmations. That Morgan Boys goal for Morton, 1-0 at home to Dunfermline. Montrose 0, Dumbarton 1, Finlay Gray on 25 minutes. Arbroath now 2-0 away at Annan, Gavin Riley on 22 minutes. And confirmation, Alex Iacoviti with a goal on 27 minutes. Ross County 0, St Mirren 1. Rory, just want to come back in on that point you're making on VAR?
Yeah, the amount of people I spoke to with regards to that particular incident last week who say, the tug was outside the box. Well, that's not relevant because it continues in the box, and then the foot. Well, the foot, Willie Collum explains it really well in the VAR show, what you're actually looking for in that instance. The fact that the tug happens on the line and it's nothing to do with the actual foot itself. Now, I think when you listen to that VAR clip, there's clearly a knowledge gap, because the rep, which is inexplicable really, but the mistake comes for me because they don't actually ever talk about these things that Willie Collum's saying. So they clearly don't understand, and they're talking what everyone else is talking about on the street. They're saying, oh, it was outside the box, oh, the foot. You hear them talking about things that aren't relevant. So for me, I listen to that audio and go, there seems to be a knowledge gap there, which is inexplicable.
Right, correct me if I'm wrong here. The audio of the VAR, they never mentioned the foot. Was it not? Yeah. Did they not just talk about it's outside the box?
It was outside the box.
Aye.
For me, they're looking at things, and the fact that they say it's outside the box,
it's difficult.
They don't know what they're looking at.
No, well, see, that's what I'm saying. It's difficult to ascertain. We're trying to, fill in the gaps there. That's what I'm saying. You can't really learn anything from. It's not like they said, oh, his foot's only on the line, it's no penalty, in which case you'd be going, what are you talking about? That's not the law. So you just don't know what they are actually thinking.
Well,
the problem is
the tug in the shirt.
I think it was the tug. Yeah, I don't think it was the foot. Sorry, Michael.
The problem is that, as we all know, if you're tugging the jersey and it continues into the box, it's a penalty kick. The foot on the line is in the box, and as soon as it happened, anybody that's watching the incident thinks, oh, that's close, I think that could be a penalty. So all you're looking for in the replay is there any part of his body that's in the box? Oh yeah, it is. His foot's on the line, which we all know is in the box. So what I'm saying about with the audio is, it doesn't tell you anything. There's no smoking gun there to say, what are they talking about?
It just tells us it was too quick.
Yeah,
that's the only thing, isn't it?
Kenny, you took the words out of my mouth. It's not about the detail of the audio. It's how quickly they rushed it. Yeah. That's the thing you can take from and learn. So you don't have to get into the detail.
No, but Rory, you're right though. You're right though.
About the actual rules and what's relevant.
But equally,
but that was my concern. Sorry, see, when they start releasing the audio, my concern is exactly what you're saying, Rory. That there is a knowledge gap, and there's different language and there's different terminology that actually offers no clarity whatsoever, and you can begin to understand why the mistakes are happening on the pitch.
I refuse to believe though that the VAR officials don't know.
They've rushed it.
No, I refuse to believe that they don't know that a foot on the line is in the box. They do know that.
Yes.
And also, I would push back on.
The foot's not relevant though, Michael.
Yes, it is.
Well, it's not. Well, listen to what Willie Collum said. He specifically said, oh, James Tavernier with a free kick about 25 yards out. He whips it, comes off the underside of the bar. I think it bounces on the line and it comes out again. Rangers really unlucky not to take the lead. They're turning the screw here. They're playing really well. Rangers, I have to say, Dundee cannot get the ball back.
Tell me this, Rory. How do you ascertain that it's in the box then?
Well, because the shirt pull's in the box, Michael.
No, it's not.
Well, that's what Willie Collum said,
it's
Michael.
Not.
So I'm just quoting what he said, right? So
the shirt pull is in the box because the foot is on the line.
My understanding. See, when I listen to the VAR, the way Willie Collum talked it through on the VAR show, they didn't make any of those points on the audio that you hear, and you would expect them to be similar to what Willie Collum's saying.
But we can't seriously, and I think this was put to Bobby Madden, not by me, on the off the ball trail. We can't be suggesting that they didn't know. They don't know the rule. It's just the speed of the decision.
Yes, and also, but to see the speed of the decision, that to me also is a bit of a red herring, because you instantly know when you watch it in real time that's awfully close. You watch one replay and you can see it's in the box.
Yeah.
So the speed thing I don't really think is a major issue either. The speed thing becomes an issue because they didn't get it right. The reason that it's all a problem is because they didn't get it right. Not speed, not lacking knowledge, nothing. It's just a poor
there's
decision.
A bit of the speed that's why they didn't get it right, Mikey.
But Dodgy, did you not?
I get what you
equally,
said.
did you not get that?
Said, yeah.
Did you not know it was a penalty quickly yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
But another one or two reruns might have got them there. It was just like a move-on job when, cleared. It was incredible how much they rushed it.
Because I don't think they know that the part of the play which they're looking at, they've looked at it and went, oh, the tug starts outside the box, oh, his foot's on the line. Listen, Michael, take it up with Willie Collum. He said the foot's not relevant. I'm not saying that. And in terms of the tug, I don't think they're looking at the right part of the passage of play to make the decision correct, which clearly happened because they didn't give a penalty.
I don't understand.
If the foot was outside the box, it would still have been a penalty, wouldn't it? Or it still should have been a penalty.
How?
No.
How's it in the box then if his foot's out the box?
But the tug of the shirt was inside the box.
No, his foot has to be inside the box.
Did Willie Collum not say the opposite to that?
Oh my God, you are making this more difficult than...
Right, do you know what?
Michael, what you're saying is spot on.
Thank you, Chip.
The relevant point is the foot was on the line, therefore it's in the box and his jersey's getting pulled. It's quite
right, do you know what we're going to do? Do you know what we'll do? We'll clear this up. We can get the transcript of what Willie Collum said. I'll read that out and you guys make your own minds up. Let me just give you the latest scores across the country. Aberdeen 1, Hibs 1, Rangers 0, Dundee 0, Ross County 0, St Mirren 1. In the Championship this afternoon, 4 games. We're at them all. Airdrie 0, Partick Thistle 0, Falkirk 0, Hamilton Accies 0, Livingston 0, Ayr United 0, Morton 1, Dunfermline 0. In League 1 this afternoon, Annan Athletic 0, Arbroath 2, Cove Rangers 1, Alloa Athletic 0, Kelty Hearts 0, Cooney the South 0, Montrose 0, Dumbarton 1, Stenhousemuir 0, Inverness Cally Thistle 0. In League 2, Clyde 1, Forfar Athletic 0, East Fife 1, Spartans 0, Edinburgh City 0, Elgin City 0, Peterhead 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Bonnyrigg Rose down to 10 men, Stirling Albion 0, Stranraer 0. And in England, lunchtime kick-off at finished Aston Villa 2, Manchester City 1. Sitting John McGinn had a part to play in that second Villa goal. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 0, Ipswich Town 0, Newcastle United 2, West Ham United 0, Brighton 0, 5:30 start, Crystal Palace at home to Arsenal. Chance.
Yeah, great save from Trevor Carson. There was Czerny on the ball. He's really good. He dips the shoulder, he dips again, and he flashes a right foot shot right across the goal. But Trevor Carson gets down really, really well and makes the save low to his right hand side. Still 0-0.
Yeah, Dundee really camped in, aren't they? They're struggling to get out, Rory.
Rangers have been really good, I have to say. I thought for a wee 10-minute spell it might become a little bit passive and sluggish, with Dundee sitting with a 4 and a 5 and a 4 in front of them. But no, they've upped the ante. They've had a couple of really nice moves. Czerny's such a nice player to watch when he's on his game. Raskin's been good as well. Taverniel's been unlucky with a free kick. So they've been good. They should be winning, but they're not. And Dundee hang in there at 0-0.
Decent game for you, Billy Dodds, up there in difficult conditions. And one thing I want to say, Billy, just saw the pictures coming in. Actually, one of them will join us later in the programme in the 5:30 part. But given the run of form they've been on, given the length of the journey, and particularly given the conditions today, a very decent away support there this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. There maybe be 1,000 up here. Looking at that, and they're contributing to the atmosphere. That there's no doubt about that. But they're getting a right good game. Once Aberdeen score, Hibs really playing open football. Maybe that's why they struggle at the back a wee bit, but they're certainly forcing chances. Aberdeen have had a few chances well, should be 2-1 up with that great Keskinen effort, but it's a real good open game, and I'll tell you what, there's more goals in this.
Let's hope so. So I'm going to just clarify the Willie Collum thing for you in just a minute's time. Let's get to Dingwall, Ross County at home to St Mirren. Anything at all from the home side, Robbo?
Not really. It was a very acrobatic
chance. 2-1 Hibs. Nicky Cadden, what a finish.
Wow.
Catches it as sweet as a nut. It's brilliant play from Boyle again. Gets to the byline, the Boyle of old, hands it up to the back post area, and my word, you cannot catch a volley any sweeter than Nicky Cadden did. Brilliant. 2-1 Hibs.
Great strike. He's the one player in the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks since he's been back fit in the team that has really sort of stuck out. Delivery from wide area is very, very good, and this is a wonderful strike, as Billy was talking about.
Do you know what? He's also got a bit about him, hasn't he? There's a wee bit of fight. Who's speaking about a lot of character, Michael the Hibs? He's got it, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does. And again, Martin Boyle, as Billy said there, just dropping the shoulder, hitting the byline, standing it up. Good play. Really good goal from Hibs.
It's a brilliant game. I told you it'd be more goals.
Oh, Partick Thistle.
Yeah, Kenny.
Brian Graham, number 11 of the season. They're leading Airdrie 1-0. Brilliant ball in from the left-hand side from Logan Chalmers, and Brian Graham slid in the 6-yard box in front of the travelling support. just short of 1,000 of them, I believe. And it's Airdrie 0, Partick Thistle 1, Brian Graham.
Yeah, Airdrie really struggling. And Chick touched on it. We had a lady on last week who goes home and away, and she looks like she's going to keep going despite the dreadful run that they're on. And I did ask her, is there any, because I've not heard any talk at all, Leanne, about Rhys McCabe but under pressure, because last season the style of football was fantastic. All saying he's a great young coach, linked with bigger jobs.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite nice to hear that, because sometimes the sort of credit in the bank goes away very quickly, but there's been not that I've heard anyway.
No, there's not, and I don't know, I mean, there's been nothing in terms of a direct kind of statement from the club or anything during this kind of run of form that they've kind of vocally given their backing. But a number of months back I was at the Excelsior and I was speaking to a couple of folk, you know, associated with the club, and kind of asked about the position and the form, and the words that they told me were it's the safest job in Scotland. Right. Nothing to worry about. Yeah. So I mean, look, it is to a point refreshing, because you want managers to be given time, and I suppose it's managing also your expectations as an Airdrie side as well. Not that they would want to be getting relegated, certainly from the Championship, but probably recognising where they've come from, maybe a reality around where they think they can get to, and without much more investment or a bigger player budget or whatever it might be to enhance and increase Rhys's chances to really turn things around. I don't suppose you can really point too much at the manager. There was a lot of players that went out the door last year. I don't think they've replaced the same level of quality. And he is a young manager applying his trade and looking to try and bed down new ideas, and perhaps the things that he's doing day to day in and around the club is enough for them to see that the club is still moving in the right direction, albeit the results are not quite there on the pitch. So look, it's a horrendous run of form that they're on. You need to say that, really tough, struggling to find the back of the net in most occasions, and are sitting adrift just now at the bottom of the table. So a tough position, but hopefully the club do persevere. But I suppose any manager's got a lifespan, and if you don't turn it around at some point, then you've got a big decision to make. But nice to hear that the fans, as you mentioned, Kenny, are on side just now. Yeah, very much so. Behind again this afternoon, Brian Graham with that goal in 37 minutes. On you go, Chick.
Yeah, I was just going to, I have friends in high places at the club, in fact, the highest of places, and I can tell you what I said earlier on. Very safe. In fact, if the point that was made to me was that if they were to sack Rhys McCabe, not only would they lose their manager, but they'd be losing the best player. It's another fact that's thrown into it. He will be given funds in January to try and refresh players. I would again suggest to you that at one point they were missing 10 players, key players. They've had to bring in young players. So there are factors as to, it's not Rhys McCabe's fault entirely on the position that they're in, and they have much faith in them, and I think they believe that if they were to be relegated, they would have enough about the club to come right back and get themselves back out of League 2 next season. But there are 18 and a half games left for Airdrie to play this season.
East 5-2, Spartans nil. Alan Troughton with the goal on 36 minutes. Brentford nil, Nottingham Forest 1. Enya with the goal there on 30. What a season they are having. Do you know what? It's interesting. So I've got exactly what Willie Collins said. I've also just received a message from former referee Charlie Richmond. Kenny, your pundits are hanging themselves out to dry today. The reason it's a penalty is the shot pulling starts outside and carries on into the box. The position of the foot is irrelevant. So what Willie Collins said on the VAR programme, which I have to say is a really good programme, it's a good addition to Scottish football. There's been a lot said about the Rangers player has a foot on the penalty area line. The foot is actually irrelevant in this case. It's about the holding and the holding only.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
That's what I said.
Which is interesting, because that's fair enough. That's cleared that up for me. But I'm pretty sure when you talk about infringement inside the penalty area, when a penalty's been taken, the body doesn't matter. It's the positioning of the foot entering the box. Yep. So therefore, that would be my understanding that the foot's
and it's
important.
A goal for Ayr United. It's come in from I think it's George Oakley who's got the final touch. It was a ball. It was fired in from the right-hand side by Jay Henderson. The goalkeeper was coming out to collect, but in stepped George Oakley, stuck out his right foot, and the ball ended up in the back of the net. We have played, we're not too long to go to the half-time whistle now. 40 minutes played here, and it's now Livingston 0, Ayr United 1.
What I would say to Charlie Richmond is he's not exactly on solid ground to start, throwing around, those sorts of claims. The point in this is that, having watched the replay, you can probably make the case that if you're drawing a force shield...
Yeah, take it away, Kenny.
Daniel O'Reilly, the defender, former Hamilton Accies player. The corner came in, it was only half cleared, and Daniel O'Reilly popped up in the 6-yard box to head in, I think, his first goal for Partick Thistle. It's Airdrie 0, Partick Thistle 2.
Yeah, more misery for Airdrie.
If you draw a force shield, which I think is a lot more difficult for people to ascertain than looking at a physical line and seeing a foot's on it, that the foot then does become irrelevant because the pull is probably on the line. The reason that you're talking about the foot is because it's a definitive. There is no ambiguity. You can't argue about the line, the angle, that you're looking at and everything like that. You can see the foot is definitively on the line when the pull is happening. Now, if you look at the replays and you're looking right along, as I said, you can make the case as what Willie's talking about, the foot's irrelevant because the pull is in the box.
You just said to me, Michael, what are you talking about twice when I just said the statement the foot is not relevant. Now you're saying
Rory, but it's
Willie Collins just said it's not relevant, and so is Charlie Richmond. The people who know what they're talking about, Chick. I'm simply quoting what they said.
Yeah, but Rory, you're missing the point that's been made here. That for 99% of the people, how would you quickly ascertain something's in a box? Trying to draw a line in the middle of fresh air, or looking at a physical.
It's not up to 99% of us to ascertain. It's up to the two people in the VAR who clearly weren't able to do it.
Yeah. So what's easier for them to understand? Looking at something physical, a foot on a line, or trying to determine something in the middle of fresh air?
The foot is not relevant.
Really? You're not listening to the point that was being made.
Let's put it another way. The foot, if you like, is confirmation of the decision.
Exactly.
Michael's right, because the foot, there is the evidence. If there's any element of doubt about the jersey pull, then there you are. There's your second case for the prosecution.
So if the foot's on the line but the shut pull happens outside the box,
it's a penalty.
It's not a penalty.
No, it is a penalty.
We're just saying it's irrelevant.
Do you know what? But the point, what we're saying is Charlie Richmond, former referee, Willie Collum
are actually confusing. They're actually confusing the scenario here. They need to run silent on that and just focus on what people can understand more easily.
But do you know what? I know they're listening. Willie Collum, any of the senior referees, if you want to send something to us, we're open to that and we'll get that read out in the second half.
Well, I just pose this question. Right. What is easier to understand? Something in fresh air or something on the physical ground?
Right, let's get back around the grounds quickly. I want to go back into the Championship because Ayr United and Livingston
Can I just say very quickly, Kenny, what's easier to understand? I understood fully what William Collum explained on the VAR show. No problems at all. No issues whatsoever. A lot easier than understand what Michael's trying to put across.
Well, I think you're in the minority there, Rory, because most people weren't sure what you were meaning.
Right, we'll come back to this in a minute. Let's get back into the
No. Well, that's a majority, 2 over 1. Yeah,
right, okay. Let's go back into the Championship. Let's go. Dodgy. It's a good excuse to go and get some chocolate. Right. Let's go to Falkirk. Amy, what's happening there?
Plenty going on, Kenny. You can hear the roars behind me. I think it's Falkirk are really dominating right now, really trying to push for that breakthrough before the break. Everyone has basically had a shot at goal in that last little flurry there. Calvin Miller, Ethan Ross, Alfie Agaman, Aidan Nisbet, Brad Spencer, they have all had a pop at it, but Charlie Alkinson and Hamilton Accies backline have managed to defend with their lives for now. Speaking of refereeing decisions though, and that uncertainty, it's not as quite it's quite controversial because I think this one's pretty straightforward. Again today, I don't understand how this has happened. I've seen it twice in 2 days. A back pass from Hamilton Accies, and very similar to last night, Charlie Alkinson clearly picked it up with his hands. Falkirk fans around here absolutely raging as fans were last night. I don't understand how that's not an indirect free kick. Maybe that's another rule that none of us understand anymore.
Amy, it's a good point. I can see Leanne nodding her head here in the studio. She mentioned that one earlier on. Arbroath now 3-0 up away at Annan Athletic, and it's Murray with a goal there on 43 minutes. Still dominance in the home side, but struggling to get a breakthrough there at Ibrox, Rory.
Yeah, Dundee have had a couple of moments in the last kind of 5 minutes, really poor decision making. An overhit cross when Tiffany was creeping in at the back post. Sorry, Cameron, it was Tiffany's cross, it was Cameron that was sneaking in at the back post. Really poor execution of the cross. So they've had a couple of passages of play now, Dundee, but Rangers are dominating the ball. But the longer this goes on at 0-0, it looks like it is going to be 0-0 at half time. You know, the Tetcher Clement and the fans will get.
It's half-time here in West Lothian, and it's Livingston 0, Ayr United 1.
Half-time in Dingwall, 1-0.
Half-time Falkirk.
Thank you, guys. Billy Dodds, I stood in the trail for off the ball earlier on. I said if there's a game I would choose today, it's the one at Pittodrie. You're the lucky man so far.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be wrong. There's an instant where I didn't see it. I was writing something down, but Nielsen was involved with his player. He's hit the deck, but it's been a brilliant game.
Yep.
There was nearly a carbon copy a couple of moments ago from Boyle again, hung another one up to the back post. Nicky Cadden headed it into the ground, and Doohan was able to make the save. But it's been an open game, loads of chances. 2-1 Hibs, absolutely brilliant to watch.
Yeah, fantastic up there, no doubt at all about that. Ipswich Town 0, Newcastle United 3. Isak with a goal there right on the stroke of half-time. We got the half-time from John Robertson. Horrendous conditions in Dingwall, but St Mirren ahead to Alex Jakovici in 27 minutes. I think the guys are in agreement. A really poor mistake from the home keeper there. We've had the latest from Amy Falkirk, the leaders being held so far at home to Hamilton Accies. Ayr United 1-0 up at half-time away at Livingston. Kenny Crawford, the away side, cruising at the Excelsior.
Yeah, it's half-time here now as well, Kenny. Airdrie 0, Partick Thistle 2. Airdrie held on for so long in that first half. Kieran Wright, the on-loan Rangers goalkeeper, was doing well to keep Robbie Crawford and Ed Fitzpatrick out, but eventually the rear guard were broken. Brian Graham's 11th of the season, his 90th for the Jags. It was a low cross from Logan Chalmers, who's caused all sorts of problems for Airdrie, and Brian Graham was there in the 6-yard box, as he so often is, just to prod it into the back of the net. And then Daniel O'Reilly, the Irish defender, his first goal for the club, a header. It was a corner that was only half cleared, and he was there just to nod it into the back of the net. So the problems look to be continuing for the home side. Half-time, Airdrie Unions 0, Partick Thistle 2.
Thanks to Kenny Crawford. Are you still playing, Chick?
Half-time at
just finished,
Kenny.
Thanks, Dodgy. Yes.
Just finished as you came. Yeah, just finished as you came to me, Kenny. It's half-time at Capello, and it's Morton 1, Dunfermline 0. Only goal of the first half from Morgan Boys after 22 minutes. Corner on the right-hand side. Boys with a fine header beyond Uluwemi, the Dunfermline goalkeeper, who's taken a few chances at times coming out his goals. But in any case, he's trailing Portage Pass side. Morton ahead, 1-0.
Thanks to Chick Young there. So stay with us in sports, and we're with you right through until 7 o'clock this evening from 5:30. Reaction from managers, from pundits, and of course from the fans. Lots of excitement around the country today, despite the very difficult and challenging position. So we'll go around the grounds in a couple of minutes' time and get all the half-time reports on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
Football from Sports Sound.
Brilliant drop of the shoulder.
BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
On BBC iPlayer.
3, 2, 1. Welcome.
I'm absolutely buzzing, I am.
Oh, that's champion.
We've got Christmas sorted.
Okay, look in the sack, quick.
Can we?
Well, I can't believe what I'm seeing here.
Oh, a Wallace onesie.
Brand new Gavin and Stacey, Gladiator Celebrity Special, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and loads more.
Well, come on.
Tidy. Christmas on BBC iPlayer.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. In the Premiership, half-time scores: Aberdeen 1, Hibs 2, Rangers 0, Dundee 0, Ross County 0, St Mirren 1. In the Championship, half-time, Airdrie 0, Partick Thistle 2, Falkirk 0, Hamilton Accies 0, Livingston 0, Ayr United 1, Morton 1, Dunfermline 0. In League 1, Annan Athletic 0, Arbroath 3, Cove Rangers 1, Alloa Athletic 0, Kelty Hearts 0, Cooney the South 0, Montrose 0, Dumbarton 1, Stenhousemuir 0, Inverness Cally Thistle 0. In League 2, Clyde 1, Forth Athletic 0, East Fife 2, Spartans 0, Edinburgh City 0, Elgin City 0, Peterhead 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Bonnyrigg down to 10 men, Stirling Albion 0, Stranraer 0. In England, it finished at lunchtime: Aston Villa 2, Manchester City 1, half-times Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1, Ipswich Town 0, Newcastle United 3, West Ham United 0, Brighton 0. 5:30 kick-off, Crystal Palace are at home to Arsenal. There's the option of commentary or open all mics from the game at Ibrox this afternoon. Rangers up against Dundee. Let's now hear from our commentary team of Derek Ferguson and Liam McLeod.
Well, it's goalless. The Rangers supporters are sticking with their team because they've played some decent stuff, the home team. But when you look at the statistics, 81% possession for Rangers, 11 shots, just 2 of them on target. That despite 26 total touches inside the box. Dundee have had one solitary touch in the Rangers penalty area, so that does tell the story as far as the dominance of the match by Rangers is concerned. However, plan A is still very much in play for Tony Docherty and his men right now. They've come here with a plan to try and frustrate and do what their neighbours did just a few weeks ago here and take something from Ibrox, though it has been hard work for them, and Rangers have hit the bar a couple of times. Hadji from distance, Tavernier from a free kick as well outside the box. Hadji clipping the top of the bar, Tavernier smashing the underside of the bar. Unfortunately for Trevor Carson and his Dundee teammates, it bounced the right side of the line as far as they were concerned. Cherney also tested Trevor Carson with a shot from a tight angle, right hand side of the penalty area. But Derek, it's frustrating for Rangers just now. Great for Tony Docherty, because this is what he's come here to do, frustrate. Yeah. And it's been absolutely fine for them so far, despite the couple of efforts that have come off the goal frame.
Yeah, from a Rangers point of view, it's been a real strong performance. All that's missing is a goal, but from that Dundee perspective, you know, they'll be delighted. They've came with a game plan. At the moment they're going away with a point, but Rangers just need to be a little bit more clinical in the final third, and you would imagine they'll take all 3 points. But yeah, Tony Docherty, he'll be delighted that his side are sitting in there in that dressing room without conceding a goal. So all to play for in the second half.
And given what's happening at Pittodrie right now, Rangers know if they score a goal without conceding, and if it stays the same in Aberdeen, then Rangers would get up to second, and they've not been out, or not been in the top 2 this season, so that will be their target. Dundee, same again for them. They'll hope half time here at Ibrox is Rangers 0, Dundee 0.
Full second half commentary to come from Derek Ferguson and Liam McLeod. Rory Loy is on open all mics duty for us from the game at Ibrox. It's been a great first half despite really challenging conditions at Pittodrie. Aberdeen against Hibs. There for us, Billy Dodds.
Thoroughly enjoyed it, Kenny. It was a slow start, but after 10 minutes it really took off, and it was the first chance for Aberdeen when McGrath combined with Keskinen out in the left hand side. His cut back saw Sokla from 6 yards, just thought he was going to put it in the net, but Bashiri came from nowhere with a goal saving block. 4 minutes later though, it was 1-0. Clarkson, a brilliant touch, brings it down. O'Hara was so poor for him. He gets sucked to the ball and he didn't have to, he didn't deepen, he released Keskinen, he did the rest with a fine curling finish into the bottom corner. But the lead only lasted 3 minutes. Simple, straightforward, effective. Amateur defending from Aberdeen this time though. It was just a goalkeeper kick, a flick on. Rubizic completely miskicked it, let Boyle through. He was so unselfish, he just said to Eli Johan, you go and tap it into an empty net, son. So that was equaliser just before half time though. It was a great effort from Keskin, and the Dons were nearly back in front. Picked it up on the left hand side again, cut in and hit a brilliant curling ball that's absolutely scalped off the post. It looked as if it was going to hit the top corner. It just goes along the line, missed the other post. What an effort it was. 11 minutes before the break though, it was 2-1 and Hibs hit the front. Vintage Martin Boyle goes to the byline, hangs up a lovely cross, and there was Nicky Cadden who absolutely flushed home a volley. Carbon copy 2 minutes later nearly put Hibs 3 up. Boyle again to the byline, hung up a cross, and Nicky Cadden this time headed it into the ground, and Doohan was able to save. It was an entertaining game end to end, but it's the High Bees who lead at the break. Half time at Pittodrie, it's Aberdeen 1, Hibs 2.
Thanks to Billy Dawes, no doubt at all. Nicky Cadden has been the standout player for Hibs in recent weeks. He has done really, really well. Let's get to John Robertson watching the game in Dingwall. Ross County at home to St Mirren, John.
Yes, it is, and both teams are doing their best to battle elements. It's battering down again here at half-time. The subs don't look too happy to be out warming up, but both teams have done their best. It was St Mirren who are playing a more controlled football, as you'd imagine, into the wind, cannot put the ball in there, so they've been knocking about the ground and playing little triangles, and they've got through on a few occasions. Mandarin, after only 3 minutes, headed one that looked over the bar right away, and then a great chance for Phillips. The ball broke to the edge of the box. He smashed a shot, which Jack Hamilton did well to parry away, and down the other end Chilvers had a free kick, a controversial free kick 20 yards out, but blasted it over in 26 minutes. It was St Mirren that took the lead. They got a free kick on the left. It was fizzed in by Kiltie. Jack Hamilton went down, looked like he could have done better. It seemed to go through his hands, hit his chest, it rebounded out. And if you'd picked one player that none of the Ross County fans in the stadium here wanted to fall to, it was Alex Iacovetti, ex-Ross County player and captain, and he slammed it into the back of the net to give St Mirren the lead. County through the south forward. Arata Bratic, Hale free scissor kick went wide, and then a chance for the Fetty at the back post as the ball dropped, but he blasted it over. As I say, conditions are hugely difficult. Both teams are trying their best. St Mirren look right up for this in the set, and what a size of a team they are. Only Greg Kiltie that I can see is under 6 foot plus, so they're a big strong side, and they're certainly coping with the conditions at the moment. And it's got the 300 or so St Mirren fans who have braved the weather up to the hands here happy enough at half time, because it's Ross County 0, St Mirren 1.
Thanks to John Robertson. Yes, that in the back of a late dramatic win at McDermott Park last weekend. Let's get into the championship. We are covering all 4 games this afternoon for you, starting off with leaders Falkirk at home to Hamilton Accies. There for us, Amy Canavan.
Yeah, Kenny, John McGlynn must be scratching his head in there at half-time. How his side are not ahead against Hamilton Accies, it's a little bit of a mystery. The league leaders, as you rightly say, have really ramped up the pressure in the final 5 minutes or so of the half, after taking a wee bit of time actually to find the rhythm, the rhythm which has taken them to the top of the pile so far, and really had that fantastic start to life back in the Scottish Championship. Ross McKeever, who's spearheaded most of that just before the whistle was peeped, he headed high from a couple of yards out, while the whole cavalry, it seemed, had a pop in one action, which I sort of described. I ran through every sort of name in that forward front line. Wide men, Ethan Ross, Alfie Agaman, they have been real threats, but Accies have too, in fairness, and they've looked dangerous on the counter. A few hairy scary moments at the back for the Bairns have presented Ollie Shaw and Kyle MacDonald with sights at goal, but no celebrations so far, not an awful lot to cheer about here, but a captivating game nonetheless. And Santa is currently on the penalties, and he is the one who is receiving the most cheers from the stands. It's half time and it's Falkirk 0, Hamilton Accies 0.
Thanks to Amy Canavan there at Falkirk against Hamilton Accies. Livingston and Ayr United in close pursuit of the leaders. Brian McLaughlin is watching their game at Almonvale. Brian.
And it's Livingston 0, Ayr United 1. Scott Brown's side deservedly in front at the break. They've certainly dealt with the conditions much better than the hosts this afternoon. They took the lead 4 minutes before the break. Jay Henderson fired in a cross around waist high, the cross into the box, and it looked as if the Livingston goalkeeper Jerome Pryor was coming to collect, but George Oakley stuck out his right boot and deflected the ball into the back of the net. Ayr had chances early on though. McAllister with a half volley into the arms of Pryor, then Henderson had a shot that was cleared off the line before a Jamie Murphy effort deflected into the arms of Pryor. Livingston very little up front, although they thought they had taken the lead after 14 minutes. The ball fired into the box. Tete Yengi controlled it. It did bounce up off the turf before he fired home. The referee Duncan Williams deemed that the ball had hit the arm of the Livingston striker and the goal was disallowed. So much work to do for Livingston in the second half if they want to push Falkirk all the way at the top of the table. Meanwhile, Ayr United, they know a win today would take them to within 1 point of Livingston this afternoon. Half time here, it's Livingston 0, Ayr United 1.
There's a really important game at the other end of the table. Morton home to Dunfermline. Let's hear the half-time report from Chick Young.
Yep, half-time, Morton 1, Dunfermline 0. 1 goal in the first half coming from Morgan Boys. It was a corner kick whipped in from the right-hand side by Aaron Lyle, and Boys with a straightforward header got in among a ruck of players and delivered a low header beyond the Dunfermline goalkeeper. I would say that Morton are worthy of the lead. They've created more, I think, than Dunfermline have. They've had a westerly wind at the back, rattling up the Clyde, so that's helped them on their way. But of course, it's not always that easy just to play with the wind at your back. The ball tends to run away from you sometimes, and but they've dealt well with it in that first half of Morton. They passed the ball well. They defended pretty capably indeed as well. And there was an early change. Owen Moffat had to come on for Nathan Shaw, who was injured in a challenge after just 12 minutes. Moffat actually has been a key player since his introduction and has tormented Dunfermline at the back, but will all change with the weather for Dunfermline. They'll have that wind at the back in the second half, but it is a significant lead that Morton have at the moment, and if they can hang on, they will go 4 points clear of Dunfermline at the bottom of the table. At the moment, no. Morton 1, Dunfermline 0.
Yeah, understandably so. Seeing a lot of Pars fans very unhappy on social media. Plenty more to come on that, I'm sure, in the second half. It's a big game there at Capello this afternoon. We'll get the half-time report from Airdrie in just a minute's time, but once again, a choice of listening on Sportsound for commentary of Rangers against Dundee. Tune to digital 810 medium wave and BBC Radio Scotland Extra on BBC Sounds. For open all mics, tune to BBC BBC Radio Scotland on 92 to 95 FM and BBC Sounds. And you can follow all the action live online, bbc.co.uk/Sport Scotland.
On digital radio,
FM,
online at BBC Sport Scotland,
your smart speaker.
and BBC Sounds.
This is Sport Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Scottish football lives here.
Welcome back to Open All Mics on BBC Radio Scotland. Let's then continue the list down the Championship. Airdrie at home to Partick Thistle this afternoon. What's the latest there, Kenny Crawford?
Yeah, the latest there is it's still Airdrie 0, Partick Thistle 2. We're well into the second half now, into the 48th minute. Those goals by Brian Graham and Dan O'Reilly giving Thistle a comfortable lead. As it stands, Thistle 5 points behind third place there, but remember Thistle have got that game in hand that they're going to play on Hogmanay away to Morton. So if Chris Doolan's men win that one, all of a sudden they're just 2 points behind there as things stand, and then it's very tight between first and fourth in the Championship. But at the moment here, Airdrie 0, Partick Thistle 2.
Thanks to Kenny Crawford. So just to round up these Championship scores for you again: Airdrie 0, Partick Thistle 2, Falkirk 0, Hamilton Accies 0, Livingston 0, Ayr United 1, Morton 1, Dunfermline Athletic 0. Just Billy Dodds waiting for the teams, I think, to come back out there at Butchers. Just coming out now, Billy. It's a really good game. You see a big travelling support there. One of these Hibs fans will join us later in the programme. Also hear from an Aberdeen fan. Billy, whatever happens today, it's been a terrific start to the season for Aberdeen, but is this a confidence thing, do you think, right now? Because this would be, as things stand, 6 games without a win.
It can certainly drain you, and if you can get momentum the way it did at the start of the season, winning games, you can certainly lose it by not getting results. And they only had 3 points from 15 before this game. If it remains the same, it's a tricky a tricky game next week, going to Kilmarnock, and it's one you kind of dread rather than look forward to, whereas the mindset is if you win this one, you look forward to going to Kilmarnock, getting yourself back on track. But they need to do something special to get back in this game. Hibs have been decent, yeah, maybe defensively a bit shaky at times, but going forward they've certainly got their confidence back, and you're using that word because Aberdeen have lost theirs just now, and they have to do something, especially that tricky trick.
It's cold up there, Dodge, isn't it?
Yeah, try that one. That trip down to Kilmarnock, will stick with that. Next week becomes a whole lot more difficult.
Comes tricky. I want to speak actually a bit more about Hibs, and albeit the dreadful defending last week, but their momentum, and compare them to their city neighbours. Of course, they play on the second, that huge Edinburgh derby. Big significance.
Dodds has made a good point there about, having watched that game, it's as threatening as they've looked attacking wise that I've seen. And instinctively, when you've looked at Hibs before, you've always thought, oh, they've got good attacking threat. But up until a while ago, they had one of the worst goal scoring records in the league. You know, they weren't scoring goals and they were conceding loads. So today, it does look like they've got a wee bit of confidence going forward back, but still defensively, unless they...
Oh, it's an absolute freak of a goal. Morton are 2-0 ahead. It's a ball on the far side. It's definitely a cross coming into the box, but it gets held up in the wind, and the goalkeeper's all over the place, all going near me, and it's a goal in the back of the net. Confirm the score in a minute, but it's way out the right hand side on the touchline. Weird goal. It's going to be Cammy Blues that scored it. Cammy Blues in the touchline, the far side. What a freakish goal that is. There's no way he meant that, but he'll take it. And Morton are 2-0 ahead against Dunfermline.
Yeah, that is a big game, as we have been saying down there at Capello. Chick Young there for us. Just before we go back, John Robertson.
And it's an immediate reply from Ross County. We're only 32 seconds into the second half. It's just a ball up the left. There's a deep cross. It got knocked down. There's a bit of scramble. It dropped there to Michael Lafetti. He's hammered it home. Ross County 1, St Mirren 1.
I think it was classic where the conditions have played a part. It looked like the ball was sort of holding up when it was thrown into the box, and St Mirren couldn't clear it. And as Rob was saying there, Rafetti just slams it into the bottom corner. It's a big important one for them to get the goal so quick in the second half there, especially with a lot's been made about the home record.
Leanne,
so I was just going to say, if Eddie's actually the one that wins the first header.
Right.
I hadn't realised that. He wins the first header, and then it deflects back just into his path and smashes the corner.
Conditions playing a part here as well. They take a short corner, Aberdeen, McGrath swings it in, and goalkeeper Smith nearly got himself in trouble, got under it, but managed to just get back and get it over the crossbar. But Aberdeen putting on the pressure early.
Yeah, good game up there at Pittodrie. Hearts are at home to St Johnstone tomorrow, as I said earlier on. A couple of Hearts fans will join us later in the programme.
One-on-one.
Yeah, on you go,
Could be
Rory.
a hint of offside. We'll see if he can finish it. He tries to go round Carson. He does, and he scores!
Oh.
He puts it in the net. It's a very, very good finish. Very calm and composed. Just be interested to see whether he's offside or not, Leanne.
It's tight. It's going to be tight. Just the ball's played just as he leaves his own half. Maybe just marginally ahead of the last defender.
That would be my instinct. Yeah, maybe completely wrong.
I mean, it's going to be tight. There's a good chance he is on, but it's probably just it's a fraction. A good finish though. He does really well.
He's definitely in the opposition half.
Yeah.
It's just whether the defender
couple of steps, isn't
quick
it?
enough or not.
Yeah.
Oh, more problems here for Dunfermline. I think they've just got a red card flashed there. I think they're down to 10 men. The players still gathered around the referee. I'm sure there's a red card flashed in the middle of that.
Oh, actually,
I'll just confirm who's coming off.
Okay, check.
His foot might just be on the halfway line.
Oh,
I don't know if that matters on the
Goal! 3-1 Hibs.
Wow.
It's Boyle again. He's caused mayhem all day. It slipped through him, goes beyond the Aberdeen defence, and just angles a shot past Doohan to make it Aberdeen 1, Hibs 3. Brilliant finishing from Boyle. He's been different class all day.
First of all, it's a great goal from Tierney. You know, he rounds the goalkeeper really well. But the game at Pittodrie, I think it's Triantis in the middle of the park that does brilliantly. He snaps into like a loose ball, wins it, and releases Boyle. As I said, I think it's Triantis, but whoever it is in the middle of the park does really well.
Yeah.
Right, Rory.
Yeah, goal's been given, so he's obviously onside, and Dundee had actually started the second half really well. Really careless couple of touches from Cameron and Mulligan allowed Rangers to nick the ball back and then played it forward, and as Michael and Leanne said, great composure from Tierney, so it's 1-0 to Rangers.
It was Triantis, Michael.
Yeah, great play from him. Read the situation really well. Tierney's actually, the defender's deeper than him, and as Liam was saying, his toe might have been on the line, but the line's irrelevant in this instance.
Come on.
Put on the line.
He's trying to keep a straight face as he's talking about that there.
Could you run a bit more detail for us, please?
Charlie Rich want to be back on any minute now. Yes.
Yeah, it's David Witherspoon. It was a yellow card, and then I don't know whether he argued with the referee. He got a second yellow, red card. Anyway, Dunfermline, who are already trailing by 2 goals to 0, are down to 10 men. David Witherspoon sent off.
Right, thanks to Chick there. So Hibs 3-1 up away at Aberdeen. Martin Boyle with that goal in 49 minutes. Confirmation. Vaclav Černý onside. Rangers 1, Dundee 0. That goal coming on 46. John Robertson telling us that equaliser right at the start of the second half for Ross County. Effetti with that goal. County 1, St Mirren 1.
Hibs have not been in a better. This is the best place they've been in all season, and they're going into the derby. I mean, what a game that is. I mean, tomorrow's massive for Hearts against St Johnstone.
Isn't it? I say, well, a couple of Hearts fans join us later, but you've got a big concern for Hearts right now, have you not?
Yeah, I do. Very big. Very big.
Just before you elaborate, Mikey, Hibs have got a spot of trouble. O'Hara is having to go off, and Miller is coming on. He's picked up an injury, just sat down at the edge of the box. So an early change for Hibs.
Yeah, I've got big concerns for Hearts. You know, I mean, we can talk about this in greater detail later on, but I mean, you know, the fundamentals are the club isn't, and it's been the same for so long. I mean, fundamentally, they're in such a great place off the park, but that board, I genuinely believe that they're still traumatised from the power that Craig Levein held there, and every person they've appointed since then, they've made sure, subconsciously or consciously, that they didn't have somebody that was so controlling or powerful, and not having a football person in charge. Joe Savage, sporting director, whatever you want to call him, was more recruitment, and now Graham Jones is a sports scientist. And the managers they've had as well have not been what you would class as all-consuming managers. And they've now in a position where Neil Critchley's in the door, and these next 3 games before the turn of the year, I honestly think are going to determine whether he's actually in a job come January.
And that's incredible. I would have to cut Stephen Naismith a bit more slack now, because I'm wondering how much of this is now down to the players. And as you've spoken a lot about that, but you've spoken a lot about the imbalance in that squad, Michael.
Well, he put it together.
Well, these players are not delivering, there's no doubt at all about that. And the atmosphere, the boos that were ringing out, I know you were there, Michael, ringing out loud and clear the other night. So a couple of Hearts fans will join us between 5:30 and 7 o'clock on Sports Sound this evening. East Fife 3, Spartans 0. Conor McManus with that goal on 52 minutes. Nottingham Forest 2-0 up now away at Brentford. Was that a wee chance somewhere?
That was a chance for Partick Thistle. Aidan Fitzpatrick, former Norwich City winger a few years ago, but he's been brilliant today. Brian Graham just teed him up just outside the box, right-footed, and it just went wide of the right-hand post. A real let-off for Airdrie as they try and get back in this game somehow. Airdrie 0, Partick Thistle 2.
Yeah, completely isolated at the bottom of the Championship side. Rhys McCabe's team, they're in a really dreadful run of form. They've got 6 points. Dunfermline are the closest side to them. They've got 15. 18 games played as things stand. A long way back, but we know he lost a lot of players. We know there has been a huge injury issue at Airdrie, but struggling at home this afternoon against Partick Thistle. Let's get back to John Robertson in Dingwall. All square there now. John, who do you fancy to go on and win this one?
You couldn't really fancy anybody, because both teams are still having a go. You know, St Mirren are still coming forward, they're still getting to the edge of the box, but not really testing Jack Hamilton. County there just had a free kick whipped in, and it was fizzing about the box. So right now it's up in the air. It's there for both teams, and as we've said before, at this sort of level for either side to win. We saw last week St Mirren come back late, get a massive 3 points at McDermott, and we've talked about County's home form, get a massive 3 points for them. But right now it's 50-50. It could be anybody's. Again, the weather has calmed down a little bit, but I'm expecting more squalls, more goals, more action.
Let's hope so. Well, certainly not the weather, but the goals and action will take that all day long.
Well, the weather's a certainty, that I can assure you.
You can promise us that. But every time we look, all the games going in here, Rory Law, every time I look up at the screen, I see Rangers on the attack. Dundee have offered very little today.
Well, they have. If it wasn't for better decision making just outside the box, they may have been able to carve open a couple of opportunities. Rangers' chances in the second half have actually come from, well, it's been short-lived the second half, but come from Dundee being further up the pitch and committing more bodies forward. So Rangers have had more space to work in. Propper's picked out Cherny a couple of times with a 70-yard diag, beautiful pass, and he's taken the ball down and obviously caused havoc at times. But yeah, Rangers are doing well. They're playing well when they've got the ball, but Dundee do look like they could do something. They just need to take care of the ball a little bit better when they get in more threatening areas. But Rangers do look like they're good on the counter-attack, shall we say.
Oh, it could be a red card here. Tanzer's already been booked. Leanne, this is one for you. White's been booked here for arguing, but he slid in late. He got the ball, but I think he's left one of the Ross County players. This got to be a red card if it's only for 2 yellows.
Did you say he's already been booked?
He's already been. He got booked in the 13th minute over the far side for a late slide.
Yeah, I remember that actually, Tanzer. He just flashed a yellow card before that. Was that
to Jordan White?
Just for a bit of protesting?
Yeah, it's a second yellow here. It's a red. Yeah, had to be.
Yeah.
It's not a challenge you can make. I don't know why he's even arguing. He's getting involved with the county players. He was hauled back early in the first half by Phillips to stop arguing with the referee. He doesn't need to go for this. It's in the county half. Yeah, I mean, he's committed, but I think he got a bit of the ball, but there's no doubt he left something on the county player as well.
He's been quite emotionally invested the whole day, Tanzer,
yeah,
hasn't he?
He was the one that started the feistiness on the far side.
Just getting a rerun of the challenge then out.
Is there much in that?
Still looks
difficult to tell from
I
that.
know.
Here's another angle here. Here we go.
You're on a booking, you're outstretched. I think he does catch the top of his foot. Probably need a closer angle to see. Definitely, but he just takes a heavy touch, Robbo, and he's outstretched, and it's a difficult one, because when you're on a booking, it's probably the type of challenge you need to get absolutely spot on.
What you're saying is, what I'm saying is that he's overrun it, he's lunged in, it looks to everybody here he's caught the county player, and if you're on a yellow, he's given the referee a decision to make, and in the end, I think a pretty straightforward decision to make.
I think he's nicked the top of his foot.
But you know, the one thing I would say, Robbo, it's not like a lunge. He's just stretched a wee bit more than a lunge.
Yeah. But he's go under the not in control, Michael?
Not even that. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I'd want to see another replay to see where the contact
Did he get any
is.
of the ball?
I don't, honestly. See, from the angles I've looked at there,
yeah, it's not great,
I can't really tell you. And from Tanzer's reaction...
Yeah, but he reacted, Michael. He had one in the first half that was definitely worse than that.
Yeah.
And he reacted there as well. And then when a soft free kick was given, outside the box or stuff. He was right in the referee's face. He had to be physically dragged away by his teammates.
It might actually just be a case of persistent fouling, the way the referees viewed it. Do you know what I mean? Like there doesn't need to be too much. But
to be fair though, Leanne, he's not. Although he didn't give away the free kick that he was arguing about.
Almost
that's just 2 tackles that you from on the outside looking at. You think
we'll keep an eye out for another replay, but it looked to me like he's got the top of his foot.
Big chance for you, Brian.
Yeah, Livingston really started to pile the pressure on. Tete Yengi had an effort that was blocked, and then Michael Nottingham again, this time with a volley that the keeper Harry Stone saved well, pushed away, but big claims as well for a penalty. But yeah, Livingston much better in the second period, but they still trail by 1-0.
West Ham 0, Brighton 1. Reether with a goal in 51 minutes. Edinburgh City 1, Elgin City 0. James Stokes on 51 minutes. Newcastle United 4-0 up away at Ipswich. Isak with another goal in that game. Spartans have pulled one back away at East 5. Mark Stowe in 57 minutes, but East 5 lead by 3-1 there. Let's get back to Billy Dawes, because it's quite the story up there at Pittodrie. Sounds a very good performance from the away side this afternoon, Billy. But just focusing on the Dons, you spoke about the run of form they've been on. That'll be 6 games without a win if it stays as it is today. Have you noticed anything different, Billy, in terms of the style of play, his approach, very much as we've seen all season from the manager?
Yeah, and as he come to me, he's going to make a couple of substitutions as well, so he's done that a few times this season. It's changed the game. I'll have to hear, but they've played okay at times. Just you said that word, confidence. I think Aberdeen have lost confidence, and they've been unlucky a couple of times when they hit the post with Keskinen. Could have gone 2-1 up, might have made a hell of a difference. But then they're easy to get at just now. Hibs have looked really potent
Hadji's
going forward
in here
and confident, but Aberdeen have looked rocky at the back.
I think it's offside. The flags went up. I don't think it'll count this time, but because he was one-on-one, I came in. It was a good finish, to be fair. Clips the underside of the keeper's heel and ends up in the net, but it's not going to count, I don't think. Still 1-0.
Right, we're just waiting on a replay here.
First angle that we got, Hadji wasn't in the picture.
He's right in front of me. I'm confident, more than confident he's offside, but the first time all the players went back to their own positions in the first half, which suggested to me they thought it was a goal. This time they've got the ball down at the free kick spot, so I'd be surprised if it was anything other than disallowed.
Right, waiting on a replay coming into the studio here. Leanne and Mike, here we go, guys.
He's definitely off.
He's offside.
He's off. Yeah.
Kenny, I know you talk about managers under pressure. What about Pep down the road? Another defeat today. It's 1-1 in 12.
You think he's going to get sacked, Brian?
Don't think he's under pressure, Brian.
You don't think so?
He's not under pressure, but Kenny was calling for his head.
That's why I asked Kenny the question.
I was watching the game coming in, actually. John McGinn had a part to play in the second goal. Great to see. Did you see the John McGinn tweet last night?
No.
John McGinn. I need to find it.
John McGinn?
John McGinn. I'm trying to. I don't know if I can find it.
He's basically giving up.
You don't just remember it.
I remember. I'm just trying to find exactly what he said, but basically he was watching the game.
Do you think it's a coincidence that Pep's under pressure and Raith Rovers are looking for a manager?
So he was watching the game last night. Can't watch that game anymore. Worst decision I've ever seen in my puff, said John McGinn, watching the game that you were at last night, Michael. We had the SFA chief exec in earlier on, Ian Maxwell. You know, he said all that he could about it. I felt he was very upfront. The way that Willie Collum has been, we were just asking the question. I know it sounds like we're wanting it both ways here, but asking the question about the confidence among referees when he has been so critical of them publicly.
You are wanting it both ways.
Probably, but fair play to Willie Collum.
No probable about it.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Right, he has been very good, very transparent. I think we've all appreciated that, and also the guidance we get on a Saturday afternoon when there is a contentious decision. We do usually get a bit of a steer from the SFA as to exactly why that decision was made. Let's get back around the games in the Championship then. Falkirk, the leaders are home to Hamilton Accy, still being held, Amy Canavan?
Still being held, Kenny. They've again started the second half a little bit slow like they did the first. Hamilton had a wee chance. Connor Smith just outside the edge of the box, but Nicky Hogarth managed to get down well, and then Brad Spencer actually, just as I say, Falkirk starting to grow into it. Brad Spencer just let one fly from way out, and it just skimmed over just again as Accy's on the break, but nothing falling for either side right now. It's still fairly end to end, but 0-0.
Dundee, sorry, Kenny. Dundee have got a corner here now. This is the third or fourth, and they've not put any of them right on top of They even played the last one short. It was miscommunication between Kelly and Sterling there. He went to head it back to the goalkeeper and it went straight out for a corner. So I can't quite believe if they're going to. It's going to be an in-swinger this time. So it'll be interesting to see this one.
Very chance, Summer, was it?
No, it was Hibs who just nicked the ball again when I think it was it Cohen who's come on, and he's read the kind of same pass Triantis did, and he nicked it, but he couldn't fashion out a chance. Aberdeen, Keskin on the other side, try to pick one out. Aberdeen have made a couple of subs, I say, Kenny. Ambrose and Povara on, Sockler and Clarkson off, but Aberdeen try to go up the other end. The way the game's been all day, I mean, Hibs had a wee chance here and then Aberdeen got the attack the other end, but can't fashion another goal just yet.
Yeah, it usually works when he makes the substitutions. Jimmy Tillian, that's been key to his success this season. Kelty Hearts 1, Queen of the South 0, Ross Cunningham on 64.
I mean, I was just going to say, 5 without a win going into this. Hibs at home, and you know, I think Dodgy was just saying it before. They started the game brightly, but you do get a real sense that the confidence is starting to drain from Aberdeen here.
You could argue, Michael, that St Johnstone probably deserved the 3 points up there. That was a tight game.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you know,
these are games you'd expect them to win. That's the point I'm making.
Regardless of whether, you know, teams, whatever, the result was the result in the end. But it's 5 games without a win now. And
it'll be 6 after if it stays like this. Yeah?
Yes.
Yep.
6 after this. And to be honest, it looks like it will be that way.
Yeah.
That's huge. It really is. I mean, it starts to really flip the pendulum like the complete opposite way. They need to, you know, this is massive, and for Hibs equally, it's a massive result. Going to Pittodrie and getting 3 points in the build up to the derby, I don't think you can overstate how important that is for them.
And I think back to the game at Celtic Park, albeit I think you were there, Leanne, weren't you? I mean, the chances they created that day.
And I think that day Michael and I we had a conversation as well about Martin Boyle at Hibs. He was on the bench that day, which I found strange because unless he'd been struggling or just wasn't quite as sharp as he'd been looking, I don't know, but he's looked the Martin Boyle of old this afternoon. Like he's been a standout, played his part in the goals, got the goal himself. Just that type of player being back to the levels that we know he can get to, and as Michael says, a result like this for Hibs away at Pittodrie is huge and could be the catalyst for real change and just that bit of momentum that you've been crying out for the whole season.
I do fundamentally have concerns about the Hibs squad, but what I'm meaning in terms of for Hibs with this psychologically is getting a result here, going into the derby, and if they get a result, they then start to really psychologically get their belief that they're going to pull away from trouble and they could be safe, because a few weeks ago I had real fears that Hibs were going to be in a relegation fight, and equally for Aberdeen here, they built up such psychological momentum at the start of the season and confidence that you're thinking, oh, this is unbelievable. Now that quickly dissipates and almost disappears, and it's very difficult to turn that back on again. Aberdeen are going to be challenging for Europe, no question about that, but you're talking about a challenge for second place.
Rangers are in second now, Mike, and I think we'll go back a few weeks ago, and rightly so. I think most of the pundits were tipping at the Dons to be second. They didn't see Rangers catching them.
Yep. And for Aberdeen, confidence is just, it can very quickly drain away, and it looks like that at the moment.
Chick.
Oh, fabulous bit of play for Morton. Lovely skills inside the box. Little shift to the right hand foot and rattled off the post. And Lyle, I think it was. Wonderful skill, nearly 3-0 ahead. Still 2-0 to Morton against Dunfermline. Remember, the Pars down to 10 men. That's David Witherspoon. 2 yellow cards it was, Kenny. He was flashed a yellow card for the tackle and then a bit of dissent. 2 yellows, equal red. Not going well for Dunfermline.
Chick, I'm thinking about these travelling fans. I'm not sure how many have made the journey. Are they behind the goal today in these conditions?
No.
I just wanted to put it.
I'm with the wee doubling in. No, I think they're accommodated in the main stand.
I was hoping that would be the case, because I was down there at the end of the summer and it was bad enough, actually, to be fair, in that away stand. It's not great. You got a good view, I have to say, but it can be challenging, the conditions down there. Peterhead 1, Bonnyrigg Rose 0. Peter Pollock with a goal in 64 minutes. He's 5 now, 4-1 up at home to Spartan. Scott Shepherd on 67. Billy, talk to me about Hibs. I like when you guys speak about the shape of a team, the tactics of a side. What's worked for them today? What's been key to this success?
there's been a real pace about their team today, not just like because Martin Boyle's running to the byline and hanging out across and then scoring a goal. It's just with the intensity off the ball as well, where they've been right after Aberdeen. It's put them under pressure, and we talked about Triantis robbing the Aberdeen midfield to set up the third goal as well, and that just gives you confidence and it rolls on. I'm listening to Michael, it's scary what goes through your head at times. There's a head knock here, I think it's for Lewis Miller this time, who's the sub, who they're having a look at, so got a wee bit of time to play there. But you would think with Aberdeen being 16, if Hibs win this, they're still 16 points ahead of them, but the whole psychology, as I said, mindset of things is incredible. You would think Aberdeen, you would still like to be in their position, but they've gone to come on and thinking we should be enjoying going there in this trip, but we have to find a win from somewhere, and they'll be dreading it. Whereas Hibs now going into the derby, they'll be thinking, can't wait, exactly. Looking forward to that. So that even though they're 16 points behind, the psychology and the
don't you worry about the derby, Dodgy, that'll be fine.
Let's look after themselves.
Don't be going down that route, Dodgy.
Did you lose?
You right now.
Did you lose many, Robbo?
No.
Did you have to ask?
Exactly. Silly question.
I know. What's happening in Dingwall, John?
Not a lot, that's why I just chipped in there. I don't have a chance here, Randall. Well of the bar. Nothing much really. St Mirren have just gone to a 4-4-1 with the red card. The Tanzer still look dangerous on the break. They're getting to the edge of the box. They've got a free kick there, 30 yards out. Smythe smashed it over the bar. County are going to make a double substitution here. They're on the front foot a wee bit. They must be big favourites now, but as I said, this St Mirren side are a big side. Only County, I would say, is under 6'1" at the moment on their team, and they're handling most of the stuff that's put forward. As County make a double substitution here, on is Reid and Brophy, and off goes Nisbet, and I can't see anyone, Harmon are both off, so it's still 1-1, all to play for, but the visitors are down to 10 men.
Another set piece situation for the away side at Ibrox, Rory.
Yeah, it was an awful tackle from Robin Proper on Simon Murray. It was, lunged in at him, completely wiped him out. He got a yellow card for it, quite rightly so, as the free kick comes in now. It's a decent ball, really good header in the centre of the box from Proper. So Dundee are doing fine. They're committing a lot of bodies forward, as I say. They're becoming a little bit stretched as McGee's in at the back post, a little bit stretched, so Rangers are getting joy almost on the counter-attack. There are periods of time where Rangers are controlling the ball, but fair play to Tony Docherty. They're going for it. They're not holding back. They're not waiting for the last 5-10 minutes. They've come out in this second half and tried to be positive. They've suffered for it at times when Rangers have went the other way, and that's why we're seeing so many kind of close offside calls, because the last man's playing on the shoulder. But still 1-0 Rangers as it stands.
Robin Proper, Rory, seems to be adapting a bit better now to Scottish football. He struggled at the start.
Oh, it's a chance, Igaman. Off the line from Jordan McGee. Really good dinked attempt at finish over Carson, and McGee's round on the cover to clear it. Good experience defending there. But
big chance here as well. Mandron went through there. Great strike, and it's deflected past the post. Big chance for St Mirren.
Yeah, just watching that was actually a great bit of play from Igaman. Just talk about...
He's so raw, though, Igaman. Like, he's done some things today, Kenny, where Clement's shaking his head, and I'm like going, what's he thinking there? And then he does things that light the place up at times. So, as long as he can grow and learn. In terms of Robin Proper, he has got better. I think he's good on the ball, but I think at times he tries to force things. I think when he's defensively as well, he knows he needs to be tougher. I think he came out and said that. He was quite honest in an interview that I'd heard as he plays another diagonal ball to Tavernier. He's done that really, really well today. Wait, you'll see that 170-yard diagonal pass, kind of Connor Goldson-esque, what he used to try and do. But look, I think he's toughened up, and I think he's kind of adapting, as you would put it, Kenny, to this. So it's coming into the cold, hard winter, so he's going to need to do that. But big strides in his performances over the last few weeks.
Yeah, needs must with John Souttar out. Yes,
a big chance here, Kenny, for Ambrose. I'm not sure whether he get flagged offside or not. It was very tight. The linesman put his flag up. I think he was saying by kick after he headed it over, but he is 6-7 yards out. No marking, no marks at all, and he puts it over the crossbar. What a chance it was for Peter Ambrose to get Aberdeen right back in it.
Eagleman's about 30 yards offside here, and they continue to not blow the whistle, and they almost force him to go and have a shot.
There's another chance, Ambrose! I don't know how wide that is, but he scuffed it, and you can tell me in the studio how far wide it was. He's got his head in his hands, but it's a great chance. He's through 1-1. Yeah, Pachiri, who's been good today, has put pressure on him, but should be hitting the target.
It looks wide enough, Doddsy, to be fair. Just getting another look at it now.
He's got to.
Probably better
Big
just
claim
to...
for a penalty here from Alex Iacovetti. Although there's concern for the Ross County player. The ball's in, it's fallen, and the county players have got the physio zone racing on here. It fell, there was a shot. Iacovetti's screaming for a penalty. But the biggest thing right now is the Ross County defender, who I can't see, is flat out. And the medical staff, both teams, are on the park to help out.
Right, yeah, that's concerning. We've got the pictures coming in here, so we're just a slight delay. Obviously, seen the medical staff coming on.
I'm not sure
so
if it's right or a Fetty.
Yeah, it's hard to see, John.
I think it's
a Fetty.
I was just going to say, I think it's a Fetty, yeah.
But they were claiming for a penalty. Iacovetti was incessant that it was a penalty kick. That was a handball, but as I say, that's irrelevant at the moment.
Did he get
They're
kicked in the
checking
face?
possible penalty here.
Yeah, so here we are here.
No, I think
No,
the
I
ball.
think he takes the ball
From close range.
Yeah,
in the face, is he not?
Yeah, yeah, it must be.
So, but I presume he's put his hands to try and protect himself. I don't
Possibly.
know.
His arms looked like they were kind of tucked in by the body.
Aye.
Yeah, but to be fair,
he's lying in the grass.
See, even if that does hit his hands, and he's
Not
put
a
his
penalty.
no,
No.
'cause even if he puts his hands up in front of his face,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's not a penalty.
No.
'Cause you're basically shielding your face.
And that's one positive this season. I mentioned that earlier when Ian Maxwell was in.
He's sitting
Hardly
up.
mentioned it. That's good news.
No penalty given. And the Fetty's sitting up, so it's all good news.
Good news there.
I was
Played
just gonna say,
2 for
Kenny.
0. Martin Rennie with the goal in 70 minutes.
All good news.
Oh, Samira. I was wondering who that was there for a minute.
We're talking about player safety, check. Come on.
No, it's not all good, not all of the players, but Robbo's saying it's all good news just for him.
I had to. I'm not sure that you could start, hanging your hat on Robin proper quite yet. I mean, it was the start of the month when he came off at half-time against St Johnstone. Didn't he play the next 2 games? He only came in against Spurs in the last bit, so his last couple of games have been all right, but
I felt again the cup final last week was good. I was at the Spurs game. I mean, Spurs were poor, you'd have to say, that night. But
look, the 2 big games he's been all right, but I mean, so far this season, there's still question marks.
I know, that's fair play, absolutely. Peterhead 2, Bonnie Rose 0, Kieran Shanks on 71 minutes. Let's get back around the championship games then. Starting with leaders Falkirk and home to Hamilton Accies. What's happening, Amy Canavan? Oh, sorry, Amy's not with us just now. I can tell you still goalless there, but Amy was saying that plenty of chances there in that game. Chick, I think you are still with us. Morton against Dunfermline.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be with you for a few years yet, Kenny, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's still...
I take more than that to put my wee friend away.
Many have tried, I'm sure, Dodds.
I knew he was going to come out with that line as well.
Are you suggesting, Dodgy, he repeats some of his lines?
Never.
Sorry, Chick.
So it's still
Hale shot over the looking for another penalty here as well, Leanne. Have another one. It's
Robbo's had
clumsy.
enough, Chick.
It's clumsy at best here, but he's charged into the back of the Ross County substitute here, and it'll be looked at, no doubt. But County, it's one of the ones. County are desperate for it to be given. St Mirren are saying it's a coming together. It's Brophy that's been bowled over. The referee doesn't seem too concerned. What do you think?
Nice.
Right, let's see.
Very clumsy.
Do you two agree? What are you giving? Leanne?
Probably soft, but it's a penalty.
Both
The
got
players
penalty.
he's not played the ball. He's literally just ran clean into the back of
Players have all
Brophy.
walked away. This is a crazy thing, right? Sometimes you talk about players' antics. They've all walked away. It's not like the County boys are trying to influence by staying around the edge of the box and saying, oh, it's definitely a penalty, it's definitely a penalty. No, it's not given. It's not been given.
Put it this way,
It was clumsy.
Ball and man, like
anywhere else in the park,
it's a free kick.
there is no doubt you're given a free kick.
Definitely.
I think, is it Richard Taylor that gives it away, I think? It just looks...
No, it was big number 5. It was... Richard Taylor, He just smashed into him.
Yeah, he's obviously
Brophy
got his eye on the ball, and he just runs right into the back as if he doesn't see him.
It from 2 yards out.
Rory.
It's a great ball from
Brophy's
McCausland
clever,
into the
Michael.
basket. It comes across the goals, and Egerman somehow managed to lift the ball high enough that it comes back over the crossbar. It's an absolute sitter, and it's still 1-0 Rangers.
It's a big chance. A big chance. Good play from McCausland. I think it was. Did you say Rory down that right hand side?
He's just come on. Well, it was Raskin. McCausland played him in.
Aye. good ball. It's on a plate for him, trying to smash it. I don't know why he's trying to put as much force in the side foot it finishes, the pace in the ball coming across, but he just needs to go and make any sort of contact, even scuff it, and it's getting in the back of the net. But
he's replaced
contact.
I know, he's replaced Cherney, which I'm surprised at. I know they've got a lot of games coming up, but they're only 1-0 up and there's 15 minutes to go. Cherney's been our best player, certainly in an attacking sense. I think Tavernier's had a really good game as well, I have to say, but Cherney's been their best player in an attacking sense, so
sorry,
no, sorry.
Aberdeen had another great chance to get back in it. It was a moment or so ago, but it was good play from them. They're really having a go. Quick passing, set up the chance, flashed in from the left-hand side, and Ambrose again knocked over the crossbar. It was a harder, more difficult opportunity, but just didn't catch it right. They're really going for it because Shinnie and Nielsen hooked, and Palaversa and Duke on, so plenty forward thinking players on for Aberdeen.
Montrose 0, Dumbarton 2, Finlay Great on 76 minutes. Amy Canavan is back with us. Any sign of a breakthrough for the home side there, Amy? They've been pressing.
You can maybe hear the fans in the stand, Kenny. They're getting a little bit anxious. I think they're beginning to see that game that Brian's covering tick into the final few minutes or so and thinking, my goodness, could be a bit of a missed opportunity. But it's no missed opportunity. Callum Morrison buries one into the top corner. What a strike that is. The substitute just minutes on, and the disco lights are cracking in Falkirk. 1-0 to the league leaders.
Yeah, that could be a big goal. They were struggling at home to Hamilton Accies, but they are ahead. John McGlynn's side with Livingston closing in recent weeks, and Ayr United making a push. They, of course, beat Falkirk last weekend, and Brian McLaughlin, they're still ahead of Livingston.
Yeah, still ahead, Kenny. We've got 8.5 minutes left to play, and another cross comes into the Livingston box, but cleared away. But Livingston have been much better in this second period. Obviously, the David Martindale team talk has so far worked so far, but yeah, they just can't find a way beyond the very strong Ayr United defence. I have to pay tribute to Michael Devlin this afternoon, a former Livingston player. He's been absolutely magnificent, a rock at the heart of the Ayr United defence today. And it's interesting as well watching Scott Brown on the touchline. We ask him, which manager do you take some traits off, and he says all of them. Well, there's a little bit of Brendan Rodgers, but mostly this afternoon I'd have to say it's been Neil Lennon. He's been bouncing about that technical area and with the arms out at times as well. But yeah, he's certainly in top this afternoon. It's Livingston 0, Ayr United 1.
That was a big chance at Pittodrie, wasn't it, for Shaden Morris?
He was getting well marked. I was going to come in, Michael, but when it was Mackenzie on the left hand side, hung it up again, a bit like Boyle did for Hibs in the first half, but there was somebody close to him. He just nudged him, so he couldn't get enough purchase to get into the net. It wasn't a brilliant chance when I saw it, but
that goal coming through on 80 minutes for Callum Morrison. What's happening at Ibrox, Rory? I've looked up and seen a couple of half chances for the away team there.
Yeah, again, decision making. Cameron runs forward there, he covers about 40 yards of the pitch, and he's got Simon Murray to his right, and he opts not to pass the ball. He's got Vito to his left. He just makes the wrong decision, and the chance just goes away completely. Rangers, again, Dundee are so stretched though. They're pushing so many bodies forward that Rangers really should be more goals in front, because Dundee haven't really carved open any opportunities. Bajrami's on now, he's playing as number 10, and Dundee have brought Simon Murray on as
big
well as
save
Vito.
here in Dingwall there. St Mirren broke away brilliantly. Ayunga did great, went down, they showed him on his right hand side and he smashed one in from an angle. Great save for Jack Hamill. St Mirren, despite being down to 10, are doing the pushing.
Oh my word.
Yep, who's that?
It's Dodgy again. I mean, as much as we've talked about Hibs, and rightly so, they're doing it again. Keskinen and Palaversa just before it, just continually giving the ball away at the back. They've given it away again for a third time. Aberdeen. It's one of those, you have it. No, you have it.
Is there a bit of unrest, Billy, among the home support? I'm just wondering, it's been such a great season, it's probably hard for them to be critical.
Not yet, Kenny. They're still trying to get behind their team. This half, Hibs, you can understand, they've looked solid, and I know, and I've seen it as well, where they've been dodgy at the back all season, but Bashiri today, not just for his goal line block, he's covered round a couple of times, he's really looked well, he's got that pace but sometimes makes mistakes. He's been solid today. But Aberdeen have asked the question. They've created 3 or 4 chances. Malloy with a header, Nielsen with a shot just over Ambrose with a couple as well, and then Michael talked about Shaden Morris just heading past there. So they are still in it, they are still trying to create. So the crowd, they're not on their backs at all, just yet, you would say.
Dodgy, I was just going to say, the one thing, obviously looking up every so often, what's caught my eye with the Hibs performances, they've been a much better cohesive unit. You know, you think about where the goal came from, Triantis. You spoke about another one where Kwon was like right up on top of it, and even that last passage of play, yes, Aberdeen were giving the ball away, but a lot of it was down to the fact that Hibs, the pressure they had high up the park, and that might well be what's helped to relieve a bit of pressure off the back line, because the unit as a whole have functioned as a actual single unit rather than being individual departments.
Best form of defence, sometimes attack. But and exactly that. And in midfield, you talked about it twice, have nicked it, and then the back line are moving, and Bushiri's had to really show his pace in a couple of occasions to cover round. But he also got one, Mikey, you might see it later on in the highlights, where he was just bouncing about, and I think maybe a couple of weeks ago he would have taken a chance, tried to bring it down, no nonsense defending, bang, hooked it on, and Hibs got a wee half chance out it.
Yeah, chance.
Oh, massive chance for Ross County. Wait till you see this. It's a free kick whipped in. It's flicked over the back. Lapata smashes it across goal. Brophy slides in, misses it, and it comes to the back post. And I think it's Fetty again. Slides in and knocks it inches past. What a chance for County to nick it.
In the Premiership then, Ross County 1, St Mirren 1, Rangers 1, Dundee 0, Aberdeen 1, Hibs 3 in the Championship. Airdrie 0, Partick Thistle 2, Falkirk 1, Hamilton Accies 0, Livingston 0, Ayr United 1, Morton 2, 10-man Dunfermline 0 in League 1. Annan Athletic 0, Arbroath 4, Cove Rangers 1, Alloa Athletic 0. Kelty Hearts have just gone 2-0 up at home to Queen of the South. Montrose 1, Dumbarton 2, Stenhousemuir 0, Inverness Cally Thistle 0 in League 2. Clyde 2, Forfar 0, East Fife 4, Spartans 1, Edinburgh City 1, Elgin City 0, Peterhead 2, 10-man Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Stirling Albion 0, Stranraer 0 in England. Lunchtime kick-off, Aston Villa 2, Manchester City 1. 3 o'clock kickoffs, Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 2, Ipswich Town 0, Newcastle United 4, West Ham United 1, Brighton 1, 5:30 start, Crystal Palace at home to Arsenal. Leanne, just come back into the Premiership, just looking at the race for the top 6 spots. Motherwell 26 points, Dundee United 24, St Mirren 22, Dundee 19, Hibs now 18 points, Kilmarnock 18 points. It's really, really tight, as the guys are saying. With that wee bit of momentum for Hibs now, things just changing in terms of the thoughts now where they could actually end up this season, because there were concerns, there's no doubt about that.
No, look, and I'm sure there will still be concerns, because yes, they won the game last week against Ross County, but by all accounts stumbled their way through the game, and it could have been very different. It's been a different type of performance, going to Pittodrie, as was
big
mentioned.
Shout for a penalty here again. St Mirren are off the feet. Corner's played in, it's knocked down by Richard Taylor. It's held up by Junga, but Alex Godzic has been bowled over, and he is Phillips has been bowled over. He's going nuts. He thinks it's a clear penalty.
We'll get a look at it, Robbo. It's quite a distance away. We've only got the one kind of small
down.
screen.
It's held up about 4 yards out, and Phillips is running to get the layoff, and he just seems to be bowled over. He is incandescent. He thinks it's a penalty. It happened that quick. I wasn't sure. It's a bit like the bump at the other end.
Might be a shout, to be fair.
I don't know whether
I don't know who it is. Contact from behind.
I don't know who it is that's into the back, and was it Jordan White? I don't know whether he gets any of the ball though.
No, I don't think
he doesn't.
He does.
No penalty. It's a quick decision.
Penalty.
No penalty.
Yeah, fair play. That was a quick decision. Rory, I just want to come to you quickly, just in light of.
Oh, they've got a man over here. Robertson. Oh.
Stephen Robinson's about to get booked.
No
he's
wonder.
not happy, so he's got a yellow
He's
card.
gone nuts there, isn't he?
Well, I think St Mirren have definitely made a bigger claim for that than Ross County did.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes yourself, Michael, players' reactions can tell you a lot. The Ross County one, none of them really looked that bothered. But this one, Phillips was up chasing the referee. There was 3 or 4 players round the referee very, very quickly. Stephen Robinson's raging. He's just got a yellow card.
I think both of them, Robbo, are pretty similar in terms of anywhere else. I think you're getting a free kick for it. I don't think, and I think it is Jordan White that goes in the back.
Jordan White, yeah.
I think it's one of the same where he's in the back. He's trying to obviously manoeuvre Phillips out the way, but he's no shoulder to shoulder. He's more in the back of him. I think that could have been. I think the two of them are very similar.
I mean, both of them, to me, I wouldn't have been surprised had they been given.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm the same.
I think when you're wrong side like that inside the box, you can make very little contact.
But both of them are the same, Leanne. That's the problem. If you look at it from a technical point of view, both defenders, Taylor and White in this occasion, were the wrong side of the attacker. And both, well, to me, Taylor just barged into him. But that one there looked like, again, it looked like it was bowled
It's
over.
also bearing down. He's literally about to get strike off.
Correct.
6-7 yards out
six,
for
7
goal.
yards centre of the goal.
Yep.
Some late goals going in. We have could be a late winner for Inverness. Cali Thistle 1-0 up with Stenhousemuir. Paul Allen on 86 minutes. Stranraer 1-0 up with Stirling Albion. That goal from Mark Russell on 88. Cove Rangers have doubled their advantage at home to Alloa. Miles Gaffney on 88 minutes. Rory, just wanted to quickly ask you, I saw the Cyril Dessers coming on there. There was a lot of reaction from Rangers fans last week that he didn't step up and take a penalty. Any sort of reception at all for him there today?
No, it's pretty good. There's a lot of empty seats now, I have to say.
Yeah, looks it.
Just before I got on to Dessers, Dundee really should have done better.
It's a big chance, wasn't it?
Huge chance. And he had more men over as well. He could have taken a touch, he could have looked up, he could have cut it back. Cameron, when he does eventually get the ball, Robertson, sorry. So yeah, Dundee will be ruin their quality in the final third, because they've done enough to create opportunities, but they've not tested Liam Kelly at all, really. As for Dessers, I don't think it's a good look as well when the goalkeeper is stepping up before you. Listen, if you're being asked, do you want to take a penalty and you're the striker, you would be expected to put your hand up and be confident to go up and take one. He wasn't confident enough to do so, whereas Jack Butland was. It did look like they were going round asking the question. I don't think it was pre-planned and pre-set. It's difficult to be that way when you make so many subs, so I just don't think it's a good look for him, and I could understand why fans would say that, but I think if they win the penalty shootout, no one mentions it at the same time.
I was thinking of you last weekend, Rob. I was hearing people talking about the penalty kicks being a lottery. You're having none of that, are you? You said to me before, it's a skill, it's an art. I remember you being in the studio. I think it was at the semi-final, the epic Aberdeen Celtic one.
Listen, it's like everything else. It's the highest test of technical ability, I think. Right? You've got to handle pressure. You've got to. We heard Ian Maxwell talk about, you can't replicate the VAR room what you can in a game, and it's the same with penalties. You can't replicate walking up in front of a crowd to take a penalty. Now, people say a lot of it's nonsense. It's not. It's the highest pressurised technical ability you can, and people who can handle that can handle it. And let's be honest, you're a professional football player, 12 yards out against a goalkeeper, and listen, law averages will tell you most of the time they score. But somebody has to miss at some stage. I mean, I watched a game midweek there. It was 18-17 in an English, Aston Villa under 21s against Blackpool. 18-17. 18-17. It was brilliant.
No pressure.
And some of the penalties were brilliant. Some of the penalties were, but the aspect's the same. You know what I mean? But anyway, back today, St Mirren in the last minute here have a free kick, 19 yards out. It's a big chance downwind. Surely got to work the keeper. Goal! What a strike! Check Young! It's all good news! Ross County 1, St Mirren 2. Smith with a drive, 19 yards out, smashed it into the side of the net. The 10 men
He's played.
are ahead.
Is it going in? Oh, it's off the line.
Stephen Robinson, they're in with the fans, the St Mirren players, big celebrations. Fair play to them for that journey up there in dreadful conditions today. A big chance at either. Rory Loy.
Yeah, well, the referee played advantage because it was a free kick initially.
Oh my goodness.
Sclaffs it.
Yeah, he sclaffs it. He was offside, Michael. They've given offside, so it wouldn't have counted. But I think, given that it's offside, they should actually put it back for the free kick, because Cameron got hauled back as he's playing that pass to the player that was offside. So, look, Dundee have had their opportunities. Not direct chances on goal, but not difficult. Done so well to get in good positions and then just wasted them. Tony Dockett will be so frustrated.
Yeah, he was off. It was very tight. And that was some goal. You're just watching a replay for St Mirren.
Lovely strike. The way the wall's lined up and the goalkeeper is probably hedging his bets that he's going to go up and over the wall, but he goes round the outside of the wall, far post. A lot of pace, a lot of power, a lot of accuracy. A big moment for St Mirren. Stevie Robinson, you seen his celebration veering off down the touchline.
Full time, Airdrie 0, Partick Thistle 2.
Thanks to Kenny Crawford there. The struggles continue for Airdrie. It's a dreadful run of form they're on, isolated at the bottom of the table. So confirmation that Oisin Smith goal coming on 89 minutes. A late equaliser for Stirling Albion. They've just gone behind at home to Stranraer. Josh Kerr in the 94th minute. East Fife sealing the points against Spartans. Kieran Miller in the 91st minute. East Fife 5, Spartans 1.
I was just going to say, the game at Dingwall, Robbo was obviously talking about the wind coming from the jail end right down, and that free kick did look like it was wind assisted.
It certainly was.
He was.
It was a belter. But I mean, in terms of just flew into the back of the net. Kenny, I was just going to say, I'll not say who just messaged me, but somebody just messaged me there to say that the Rangers penalty kicks was the manager He decided, and Dessers did want to take a penalty.
Wow, that's interesting.
And why is the manager not then come out and said that?
Oh, transfer 2-0
Good point,
here.
Michael. It was a big talking point
Dundee
here, Rory.
A lot of men forward. Oh, Ross McCausland shows no composure whatsoever. Bajrami plays him in. You'd expect him to do better, and he just blazes it over. And there's life in Dundee yet with 4 minutes added on.
7 minutes here at Pittodrie. Injury time. The board just went up a few moments ago. I'll tell you what, emphasises Michael's point about Hibs and how they are
full time out Falkirk 1-0 against the Ackies.
Big goal, Callum Morrison with that goal. The leaders in front got the points. They went in front in the 80th minute. They hung on. Falkirk 1, Hamilton Ackies 0. Dodgy.
No, it was Nicky Cadden who has been brilliant today as well. Chased Shade Morris back 30 yards, put in a tackle, hit off Morris, goes for a by kick, and I swear there was 5 of his teammates ran at him as if he'd scored a goal just to congratulate him just for the defensive side. So it just shows you the confidence and defensive work Hibs are putting in here today. Oh, it's a flare up here.
Oh, wait a minute.
Full time at Capel. It's 2-0 to Morton for Dunfermline. Boys, Blues with the scorers, and then Witherspoon sent off.
That's another huge opportunity. Honest, the final third at both ends has been awful. I mean, Dessers has got an opportunity here. Dundee give the ball away. They break forward, left-footed, and he hits the crossbar when he really should be doing better. And that's really interesting what you're saying there, Michael. I mean, what does that say to Cyril Dessers if you say you want to take a penalty and your manager picks your goalkeeper before you hit a penalty?
Yeah, that's if that's correct. We don't know if it is, but that's correct. That's certainly quite a story. That's 4 times Rangers hit the woodwork there. Dundee still in with some hope there at Ibrox this afternoon. And just seeing that wee flare of a couple of yellow cards here, Dodgy.
Yeah, I thought it was going to calm down, and the two of them was as if they were just trying to separate one another because their boots had entangled, and then they stood up, and then there was a little bit of afters, and then I think it was Boyle and Mackenzie squared up to one another. So it's something about nothing, but after last night you never know. So but 2 yellows.
And Brian, was that a late chance for you at Amon Vale?
A huge chance for Livingston. It was a long throw in that. The ball actually came off the head of an Ayr United defender, looked destined for the back post, and Harry Stone somehow got himself across the line and clawed the ball away, and the full-time whistle's just gone here. A huge win for Ayr United. That goal obviously in the fourth minute before half time from George Oakley. The difference, it's finished here. Livingston 0, Ayr United 1.
So in the Championship, Airdrie 0, Partick Thistle 2, Falkirk 1, Hamilton Ackies 0, Livingston 0, Ayr United 1, Morton 2, Dunfermline 0. Still playing at Ibrox, Rory Loy. Well, that's the case, still a little bit of hope for the away side.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's been very even this second half, very even indeed. Both sides have had openings.
There's a kick for the, he shows you the wind there, a kick for the goalkeeper. Landed 8 yards out and bounced about 2 yards wide of Jack Hamilton's goal.
It's John Robertson there. Real drama up there in Dingwall, despite the dreadful conditions. These St Mirren fans have made the journey up so far. They're very, very happy indeed. Rangers countering at the moment there.
Yeah, but again, poor decision making. I know I'm repeating myself, but that's exactly what it is. Czerny's the player who, when he got in that position, showed the coolest head in the place and rounded the goalkeeper Carson and put it in the net. Players at both ends of the pitch have had opportunities to do the same by picking out a teammate or showing a bit of composure. None of them have done it, and that one bit of quality is separating the teams at the moment.
Right, and still playing at Pittodrie, Billy Dodds. Hibs look on course for a vital 3 points up there.
Yeah, no way back, about a minute and 40 seconds to go, so I can't see. They had a push of created chances, Aberdeen. They couldn't get a second to really pile on the pressure. Hibs have been solid this second half. Really looked
full time at Ibrox. Rangers 1, Dundee 0.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, looked the part in all departments, whether it's going forward, confidence grown, defensively more solid after that first mistake from Ahora, and certainly deserved their 3 points.
We've got a County fan joining us from 5:30. John Roberts. This has got to be hugely concerning, this result, if it stays this way in Dingwall this afternoon.
It'll be frustrating because, as I say, with 10 men against 10 men and the vast majority of the second half to go, you'd expect them to kick on. They've not really created any. One chance blasted across the face of the goal, penalty incident, but St Mirren have not been without a threat. They've carried a threat, as I said. They've worked Jack Hamilton. They too had a penalty thing. So listen, it would be a draw would probably be about right. You know, if it finished 1-1, you'd have said, yeah, it was about even. Chances created, penalty shouts turned down, goals taken, obviously. But then that strike, the free kick, wind assisted, he smashed it in. And that literally is the difference, you know. But St Mirren have had to play with 10 men, and they've managed to do well. They've been solid, not giving too much away, but still managed to have that threat. And you can hear them in the background at the moment. There's 435 St Mirren fans have made the trip, and they are absolutely delighted. Unlike the one St Mirren fan who's stuck down in Capello, who's probably just as happy.
He'll be very happy indeed. He watched a decent game.
Alive.
Yeah, absolutely, still with us, and he watched a decent game there.
Kenny, full time. It's Aberdeen 1, Hibs 3.
Yeah, we'll get a reaction. Actually, an Aberdeen fan and a Hibs fan joining us between 5:30 and 7 o'clock. And was that a wee half chance here, Robbo?
No, just a long ball again that Ayunga decided to chase. You know what I mean? It's downwind because Balcom suddenly put his foot through the ball, and they said he hit one out his hands and it bounced just past the post, and he just launched one up the park there. There's a chance, Randall at the byline, cut back. Balcom again's got it. But no, it was just long, and you're thinking, the St Mirren. One thing that Stephen Robson's got in this team again is pace. And he's taken off Mandron, who's a handful up front. He's brought on Ayunga, and he's just chased everything down the park. And it's pushed County back the way. But
and then you've got Alessandra.
That's what I'm saying. And he's not even on. He's not. There's Balcom. You're seeing it. He's just booted at the whole length of the park to say, right, have a bye kick. See if you can come 110 yards down the park again at us.
Speaking of strikers, Robert, I just caught a glimpse earlier on of Eamon Brophy. Is he having much of a looking up there?
He's not had much of a run because Hale's been doing well, and they seem to. Alex Samuel. One thing about Alex Samuel before his injury, he is a buzz bomb. He gives you no peace at all. And Brophy's had a few niggly injuries as per usual, but he's not really had a chance of late. But with Alex Samuel being out for a few weeks now, he's done his thigh last week at Easter Road. Oh, he can't be offside. What he would have been, but he'll get an opportunity now. He's gone up front with Jordan White and Alex Hale. They're just throwing everything at the moment. So we're now into the 8th minute of 7 stoppage. I think this is the last chance here. Jack Hamilton has launched it long towards Jordan White. Brophy's flicked it on. It's booted away again. There cannot be any more. There it is. 2-1 St Mirren. Full time.
Fantastic. Thanks to John Robertson. Aberdeen 1, Hibs 3, Rangers 1, Dundee 0, and as we've just heard from Robert, Ross County 1, St Mirren 2. Stay with us on Sports. I'm with you right through until 7 o'clock this evening. Stephen Craigan will join us in the studio a little later on. We'll get fans on. We'll get an Aberdeen fan, a Hibs fan. They'll be absolutely. That Hibs fan was at the game today. Absolutely delighted, I'm sure. How concerned with Aberdeen fans be? It's been a great start of the season, but not so good, obviously, in recent weeks. And of course, we'll get some Hearts fans on. That's a huge game on Sports Sound tomorrow. We'll hear from the managers, we'll hear more from our pundits, so stay with us on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Plenty more to come between now and 7 o'clock. It is time now though for the BBC Radio Scotland news at 5 o'clock.
On